Today's guest is a musician and a songwriter, originally by way of Southern Indiana. He's got that voice in him. He's got that power in him. He's got it. He's got it. He has a new single, Gary, that's out now, and a sold-out tour in the spring. I'm thankful to finally get to sit down with Mr. Steven Wilson Jr.
Man, I'm such a fan of yours on all levels, your podcast and your comedy and
Thanks,
and
bro.
your humanity. So yeah, it's an honor to be here.
I appreciate it. Steven Wilson Jr., thank you so much, dude.
Thank you,
Yeah, it's
Theo.
really cool. I think this is one of those moments where I feel, like just so lucky that I get to, that some of this job has ended up like this, like getting to talk to people that some people would love to sit down with, you know? So thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. You have, you had a pretty decent run at the CMAs this year.
Yeah, it was
New Artist of the Year.
Yes, I was nominated for New Artist of the Year, which blew my mind.
And did you win a Red Clay Strays one? Who?
I got
it
Zach
wrong.
Top won.
Zach Top
and
won.
Very well deserved. That man has had a big year, and I'm a big fan of his. And
Yes.
I was very happy for him. And I was really rooting for everybody. But myself, I didn't really think I even had a prayer's chance in hell of winning. But I was just like, honestly, being nominated was a huge win for me because, you know, I wasn't supposed to be there on paper. You know, like there's a lot of things that like I contradict, and so just being there, you know, it meant a lot just to be out there, and it was really wild when I remember when they said my name, and like it didn't feel. Like I was like, that's somebody else.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not me. That's like a.
Oh, for sure. Well,
yeah.
do you think of yourself as country music?
I do. Yeah. I am a country boy. I grew up in the country. So I am very country just by culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot help but write country songs. I grew up listening to country music and classic rock. I grew up in body shops, and it was all classic rock and country music, old school and 90s. And so that was kind of my pedigree, my listening pedigree. And then I grew up very country, very agrarian, kind of hunting for our own food. And I ate a lot of squirrels growing up, and rabbits, and we just grew up very country. It wasn't trendy at all either. It was like just a means of survival. My dad was raising 3 kids and on his own, and so he just went out and killed food. It was a lot cheaper than buying it at the grocery store. Like, you know, one deer slug could feed you for like 3 months. So like that's the way he looked at it.
Oh, there's a beautiful group right there. You guys, kids, huh?
That's my dad and his 3 little ones, and that's me.
That you on the bottom left there, kind of in the middle?
Yeah, in the middle. Yeah.
And who's that dime on his lap, huh? And I mean that respectfully. I'm such a child. Who's that beautiful young lady?
Yeah, that's my little sister, Lacey J.
Oh,
Yeah,
Lacey J?
Lacey J. Yeah, named after Lacey J. Dalton, another country singer. And but yeah, she's his little girl, and yeah, she is beautiful, and she's a beautiful person in general. She's really kept our whole family, like me and my brother right there, we're like Irish twins. We're only like a year and a few months apart. So we grew up beating the hell out of each other. We were both boxers. My dad right there in this picture, he had just won, you know, the Golden Gloves for like the 3rd or 4th time in a row. And, you know, he was probably just running over to like Olin Mills or somewhere at Walmart and grabbing this picture real quick. So just that there's proof that we existed and proof that he did this. And I always find it wild that he had time to even
figure this out,
snap that picture amidst his life. It was so crazy at the time.
And for a dad to put that together, that didn't, you know, that wasn't really the dad world. So he was a single dad raising you guys?
Yeah, he was driving a bus in the morning and then working at a body shop and training to be a boxer. He was wanting to be a pro boxer, but a lot of things, you know, he had to really kind of focus on being a dad and kind of had to put his boxing career, because he really had a very promising career ahead of him. And so a lot of my dreams, I live kind of, you know, for him and myself, because he put a lot of his dreams on the back burner to raise me. Like, and but he also created me. So like he kind of had to do that, if
right.
you know, like, so, but you know, a lot of people don't take that responsibility. And when I see that picture, I have like you said, a memory.
Well, he either got he's got great dimples, or somebody caught him with two good.
No, yeah, he's got
hooks.
great dimples. Yeah,
he does.
My
Okay,
little
I was
sister
going to guess.
has the same ones. And but yeah, I see that guy right there. And about a year from that picture, he would have been curling my little sister's hair and getting her ready for kindergarten. And even though his eyes were swollen shut from sparring the night before, I have like distinct memories of him like getting her ready for school and being like a dad to a very young little girl, like, and like, you know, crimping her hair and curling it, and you know, being a dad, being a dad, but also doing feminine things, like, because there was no one to do the feminine thing. So he was like, oh, I got to be dad. And he was really good, and he knew how to do the the dad dude part. Like, he had me and my brother boxing every night, and we were hunting and fishing and doing all the dude things. But he had also had to be a dad to a little girl that was like the light of his life. And
wow.
that was like quite the responsibility. And I look back on that, and I have, like I said, just such a distinct memory of him curling her hair, like while morning cartoons are playing right before we got on the school bus. And yeah, he was quite the dude.
What was his name?
Stephen Wilson.
Oh, he was
senior. Yes.
You just never know. Sometimes they'll throw a junior on somebody just because they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I know.
You know, or they're just a NASCAR fan. They'll tack it onto the back of their kid's name.
Like pick that. Like a donkey tail, they just put it on there like a junior. No.
Like, yeah, we'll pin the tail on this child, you know?
But no, I'm very much a junior. It's very much a thing in boxing, especially. Like, you know, I joke around that, my dad, he was named after a martyr in the Bible. Like, my grandmother named him after a guy that was had rocks thrown at him until he died in the Bible. Stephen with a PH, by the way, and which makes a lot of sense, because I'm pretty sure my dad was stoned when I was born. That's the joke. And,
the pH level of his brain was probably weed, probably then. It might have been plus 40 then. Depends on if he was on some serious gas or not.
He did like perhaps the...
Oh, you had to back then.
The country cabbage.
The story of Stephen from the Bible. Stephen, the first Christian martyr, was stoned to death outside Jerusalem for his faith, as described in Acts 7 of the Bible. His executioners, including a young Saul, threw rocks at him after he testified about Jesus. Why did Saul not want him to testify? Did he not believe him, or did he just not want him sharing the truth?
Well, Saul at the time, this is pre-Paul, because Saul turned into Paul once he saw Christ, like the Spirit of Christ appeared before him, and that's when he became Paul. But at that point, Saul was very much a figure of the Jewish religion. Like, he was a very high-ranking Jewish official. So like he was kind of, like a high-ranking individual, and so he was really, in his mind at that time, probably just doing his job, right? Not really knowing why he was doing it. But then he had a very much a come to Jesus moment. No pun intended. And that's when he became Paul, and he wrote literally probably 2/3 of the New Testament, or at least a lot of it. Half of it at least.
This says here, it says, and we use Perplexity AI, and it says, before his conversion, Saul was a zealous Pharisaic Jew.
Yeah, he's a Pharisee.
Pharisee was a zealous Pharisee who believed followers of Jesus were dangerous heretics. So from his perspective, Stephen's preaching against their rejection of Jesus and his criticism of their misuse of the temple was blasphemous and deserved death under the understanding of the law. That zeal led him to participate by giving approval and overseeing the execution, which he later remembered with deep sorrow when he became the Apostle Paul. Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, dude, that's got to be a lot to carry, because if Stephen was the first Christian martyr and you had him stoned because your faith wasn't there yet, and then to look back through a different perspective.
Not much longer after that for him to be like, oh, now I'm preaching the same gospel without rocks being thrown at me. And now that has to be quite the thing to come to terms with. And I think that's what motivated him to write, so many epistles of the New Testament and became such a huge figure of the New Testament. There's a lot of books that they believe were written by Paul, like the book of Hebrews. There's like no author, but they believe even he wrote like books that nobody has any author to. Like they can identify his style of writing and be like, it had to be Paul.
Wow.
So, yeah.
People love your style of writing, man. Speaking of that.
I grew up very religious. That's why I talk about. I grew up in a Pentecostal Nazarene kind of church, a lot of holy rolling, and I read a lot of the Bible growing up.
I just started going to a Bible study. This is the first time I've ever been to a Bible study in my life, and so it's been interesting to start to just learn about different characters from the Bible and just different stories and stuff. So, I'm just glad that we even got to talk about that, and that's how your father was named, from Stephen. I didn't know that story, and now I remember it.
Yeah,
and so that's pretty cool. What was that? Yeah, the church you went to, because you're from the Midwest. You're from Indiana?
Yeah, I'm from southern Indiana, Kentuckiana, they call that area, like just north of Louisville, Kentucky, just close to where Trevin's from. And
that's our producer.
I would say that's where the Midwest and the South kind of chest bump or shake hands. It is literally a collision of two cultures. So people have southern accents and watch NASCAR, but they also put noodles in their chili, which is a very Midwestern thing. So, there it is. Jackson County, Indiana, right there in this southern part.
The Midwest, they'll starch up a protein in a second. They don't give a dang, brother. Yeah. They'll put a starch right in the middle of a protein. Yeah. That's how they are there. They love that.
Yeah. I mean, I would go long winters. It gets cold. You need them starches.
Oh, yeah. I would go. We used to go to the AC. It was an apostolic Christian church with my grandparents and some of their neighbors. And it was in Illinois, like in pretty much southern Illinois. And that was just part of the culture. Like people would eat their dessert at the beginning of dinner sometimes. So they made sure they got their dessert in. Like it was just kind of some of that culture.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that. Like get too full and getting too excited on mashed potatoes. And they're like, damn, I ain't got nothing.
It was almost a shame if you didn't have space available in your body for a beautiful dessert somebody had made. You almost felt a bit ashamed in a way.
Yeah, and you should be. I think how much work was put into that cobbler compared to those mashed potatoes. Like you ate the easy stuff.
Oh, and sometimes you'd have somebody, you'd have such skilled labor in that, or you'd have a real cobbler making the cobbler. You'd have a damn shoelace going through a peach, Yeah. You'd be in there.
Some bootlace cobbler.
You'd find half a soul and you'd be like, oh, is this crust or is this part of an 11 and a half?
Yeah, what is this cobbler? Soulless?
Yeah. You're like, nope, not so much. He's got real heels in the corner. It was just but there was so much value, I remember, in my grandmother's town on cooking and on having people over for meals. Just that Midwestern culture, on hard work. And religion was a big part of it. Even their neighbors, if my grandparents couldn't take us to church, their neighbors would offer, we'll take them to church, and we'd go and just get to see what some of the different churches were like. And that was one of the bigger religions in the area, was apostolic Christian over there.
Did you see any exorcisms or any speaking in tongues or movements of the Spirit?
Let me think. No, they had good donuts. They braided their hair. The women did one big braid. They didn't show a lot. It was very kind of covered up with some of the female culture.
They braid their donuts?
They did have those one. Yeah. What is that one that's braided?
I don't know. It's I don't know what it's called. I don't love it.
I don't either.
Yeah.
It's too much bread, and I don't think there's filling in it. You think there is when you're a kid.
It's very deceiving. Yeah, twisted donut. No, there's a word for it. And
it's... What is that? Kreller was one that I loved, but I don't think this was a Kreller. Well, Kreller often made from choux pastry, French Kreller, or yeast dough with a distinctive twisted shape. Or maybe it was a Kreller.
Yeah.
Maybe it was, but
I'm thinking of something else, though.
It looked good as a kid, but it was deceiving.
Yeah, it was always like, oh, I want that. And then you would eat it, and you'd be like, man,
there wasn't
enough
trash.
Yeah. I should have went with that Bavarian cream.
Yeah, or I should have went with the one with the frosting on it, But we had a beautiful time. Yeah, I didn't meet any, there was no seancery really. I do remember there was a mentally handicapped fellow who said he could drive, and he was a driver's ed instructor, and he wasn't. He was just, and some people believe he was mentally handicapped. Some people were like, he's possessed by the devil. And I'm like, well, he's not possessed by like a devil who just, is sitting around us picking his nose and just,
Yeah.
he was just a little bit off, this dude named Brandon, and he was awesome, actually.
Yeah.
He was kind of this special guy between an adult and a kid, and he never left that zone, so there was something kind of very approachable to him about kids because he was bigger than us, but he was just like us.
Yeah.
And he taught me he said he could drive, and we drove right into a snowbank and the police came and everything. But it was just exciting though.
He was a liar.
Yeah, he was.
Which is a good place for him to be at church.
He was a Bears fan. I think it was a tough time for everybody.
That's. I mean, I got to say, I saw quite a few demon-possessed Brandons where I grew up.
Did you?
I saw a lot of Brandons get demons cast out of them.
Really? So you would see that at your church?
Yeah.
And what was that kind of like? Like, because some places that's a part of a culture, and I believe in that type of stuff. Do you believe in it?
I do. I have I've tried to deconstruct a lot of that through, because I have a science background. I've had to really try to understand a lot of that and understand what is real and what is not. But there was a lot of it that was 100% real, and there was a lot of it that was 100% not. And I believe there's theatrics, but I also believe God is everywhere, and I believe God did show up in those places just like God will show up in any place. But yeah, I did see a lot of grown-ass drywall dudes get like demons cast out of them before lunch, and I'd be like sitting there with half a Pop-Tart in my stomach watching this dude literally like throwing dudes around and like exhibiting some superhuman strength.
Oh, they're popping the tart right out of that dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the original Pop-Tart dude. Is a damn exorcist.
Yeah, he created the original Pop-Tart. That cherry-flavored Pop-Tart was from a demon exorcism. That's why it's red.
Yeah, you just know they could have gone with a lot darker flavors, but they're like, let's make this available to children. But dude, a Pop-Tart's an exorcism, shit, I am there, dude. I'll sit on your lap.
Speaking in tongues, I actually went, in our town, like an evangelist could like show up to your church, and like a traveling evangelist, and be like, we're having revival here this week.
Oh, yeah.
And literally the church would shut down and be like, we're having revival, y'all. This is what we're doing. And the whole week would be a revival just because this dude showed up and said, God told me to have a revival here. And they would have a huge, like, big tent revival.
No way.
Absolutely.
Dude, it's always been my dream to be a part of something like that.
No,
Leap of Faith was my favorite movie growing up.
Dude, that movie changed
Nobody
my
knows
life.
about it.
It's one of the greatest movies ever made. Literally changed my life. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you know about that movie. Like, very few people I've been able to talk to about that movie, because it had one of the most profound impacts on me.
Really?
As a kid, just because of how I grew up and in the music business and seeing performance and theatrics and, where is God and where isn't God. And that movie is just brilliantly done. But I remember I went up, this dude showed up, and he said, tonight everybody's getting slain in the spirit. You come up, you're getting slain. And I don't know if you know what slain means. Like you stand up there and the dude hits you and you fall down and you're just out for however long. Mm-hmm. And everybody lined up, and I was like, I'm getting slain tonight. I've never been slain.
Yeah. That's that freaking religious Percocet right there.
Yeah,
boy.
I wanted it bad. And he just knocking people over left and right. Boom, boom, boom. I'd seen him go down. I was like, he's coming to me.
No way.
And he got to me, and he started speaking in tongues. And I remember he tapped me right in the forehead. Boom, like that. And I was like, oh, that was kind of hard. And I was like training for the Golden Gloves at that time. So I was like a little bit like, what's up? Like, he just like hit me right in the forehead with his fingers.
Yeah.
And then he started, it didn't work. Like, it didn't take. And so he did it again, even harder. And I was like, kind of like mad about it at that point, because it actually kind of hurt. I was like, is this dude trying to knock me out?
Yeah.
Or like, is he trying to slay me in the spirit? And anyway, he just...
Yeah, let's look at the judge's cards.
And I'm just like getting hit in the forehead by him, and then he just moved on. It was one of the most heartbreaking things. He went to the next guy and knocked him out. Next guy down.
Were you being defiant, do you think?
I don't know. I thought like, man, I guess I don't believe. Did I like snap out of it? Was I not in the moment? I didn't really know what to think, because I was like a 19-year-old kid just trying to feel God and try to get closer to God, and everybody seemed to be doing that. And what was wild is like he knocked everybody out, and there was all these bodies all over the floor, people like putting modesty cloths all over them and stuff, and they're just out there asleep. So I had to like walk all over all these bodies to get back to my
You're like, oh.
yeah. To
And
my
it's kind of
pew.
embarrassing. It's almost the walk of shame at church.
It was the most shameful walk I've ever taken at church.
Like, oh, I guess I'm not. Yeah,
I guess I'm not. And what really made me laugh, or at least kind of helped break me out of it,
missing the spirit.
Yeah, I remember thinking, like, what if I step on, because everybody had their hands out, just kind of like laid down.
Right.
What if I step on someone's hand?
Wake them up.
Will I snap them out of it and then be like, ah, and then they'll go back in, or would they be out? Like, oh, you stepped on my hand and now I'm no longer slain. I was like, how did...
Or the like Stephen, the sinner, you know, old Stephen Wilson Jr., who can't even get the dark arts exercised out of him.
Yeah,
He's over here waking up people who are doing well.
Breaking fingers with his steel-toed boots, shamefully walking back to his pew.
Oh, I never thought about the walk of shame at church. What is a modesty cloth?
Well, like sometimes a lady would get slain and she's wearing a skirt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a Pentecostal church, and they cover and make sure, like, you know,
that's a lot of skirt, dude. We used to call them skirtins because they were so long, you know, and some of them would be actual curtains that they had taken off of a window somewhere. Some of them you'd even see like that stick, you know, the stick that's on the edge of a curtain that you can like, if you turn it, it'll go up. Some of them even had those. Yeah. You're just sitting over there, but dude,
if you're drawstring.
Yeah, if you're trying to get a pin, you got to spin that thing for a long time.
They got blinds underneath.
Yeah, they got blinds, those vertical blinds underneath.
Yeah, they cure you from blindness.
Dude, that's pretty funny, dude. Thinking about something like that, thinking about something that's funny together with somebody is something that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was like, it helped me get through it, like because like you said, there was a shamefulness to it, but it actually was kind of funny when
So they threw that modesty blanket on them.
There's a modesty cloth.
But that's good for that.
Yeah.
Good for that at least, because there's some guys, some lurkers that would just be up there.
Yeah, you never know, and like I said, in those churches, like nothing, you didn't even show below the knee. So like if your skirt started to show some knee, they better get a cloth over that.
Oh,
you can't be seeing that kneecap.
Oh yeah, boy. Those I remember being young and just God, I was kind of like I guess like a little bit of a peeping Tom or whatever. I was like visually stimulated, I called it, and had a step stool. Yeah. But I remember for Christmas one year, I wanted a ladder. My mom was like, what do you want a ladder for? Like, why do you want this little ladder? And I wanted to go. I'd go watch people and just watch in their houses. And I wasn't always looking for perverse stuff. I was just looking. I liked watching people live, right? Yeah. Like, I think I hated being at our house. It wasn't fun. It was just painful kind of a lot. And it was like always like aggressive and defensive. Like the second you were around, you had to be defensive. And so I would go watch as other people live, like watch somebody just be, you know, or just watch some dad sit there in a chair, some mom make something, or some kid just, you know, like usually it's like the living room or something. I wasn't getting real weird, but I love that kind of stuff, man. I love just kind of absorbing how other people operated. Yeah. That kind of stuff was interesting.
You're an OG people watcher.
Yeah, I was a bit of a,
if
get your ladder together, you know, but get half a Pop-Tart in you and get over there and just see what
I find comedians and songwriters in general are just like, they're people watchers, and then they watch so much people that they end up, these narratives start to show up. And so you were probably just harnessing your skills for what was to come.
Yeah, I think sometimes, you look back in your life and you're like, oh, so much of that was was ammo to provide something.
Yeah.
You already know it, but you should be reminded that Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app. The app is really easy to use. To create a player lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few player stats. That's it. Prize Picks will give you $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you get $50 in lineups. Use promo code Theo when you download the app and sign up today. And on top of making lineups, you can now also pick teams on Prize Picks. Pick the winner, total, and spread on everything from college football playoffs to combat sports to football and basketball. Team picks are now available in 30 states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Lastly, Prize Picks is in the middle of their holiday Pixmas promo. For 7 days leading into Christmas, look for daily discounts, boosts, and even a max discount dropping on Christmas Day. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Play responsibly. I want to let you in on some information here. When I need more Bitcoin, MoonPay is always the first app that I open because it doesn't force you to buy a whole coin, and it's super easy to use. MoonPay is one of the biggest partners on this show, and I'm excited to share that I've made the decision to accept my compensation from them in Bitcoin instead of US dollars. I'm planning to hold and save that Bitcoin in my MoonPay account. The Bitcoin will sit in a digital MoonPay wallet that nobody can access except for me. The US dollar continues to fluctuate in value, so by making this decision, I'm diversifying my portfolio and hopefully earning more from our partnership than I would have otherwise. Remember, while MoonPay makes buying crypto straightforward, it's essential to do your own research and understand the risks involved. Crypto trading can be volatile and you could lose your investment. MoonPay is a tool to facilitate your transactions, not a source of financial advice. Trade responsibly. One thing you said that was interesting a little bit ago was you said that your dad was a boxer and he did these things, and then sometimes you're living out some of your dad's dreams.
Yeah.
And I find that to be interesting that that we feel like that as sons, or that some sons feel that way.
Yeah.
And then also that some dads will make sacrifices, like you're saying, like, you know, and it wasn't like it was his choice that he made, you know, it wasn't like a sacrifice, but sometimes even with choices then come sacrifices that you don't see. And then you have to make another choice then as to what do I do here? Mm-hmm. But that, like by giving birth to a son, by having an offspring, you are creating something that can go the next leg, almost like it's a one of those races where they pass the baton. What is that called?
Yeah, I think a baton race.
Yeah, a baton race. And it's not hard. It's not as hard as it seems.
I'm not sure. It may not be called that. It may be something way more complex. There it is, a relay race.
Baton race, relay race. But it's like, this is as far as I can get. And let me put this into you but then it's interesting as the next runner, as the next generation is, wow. How much do I owe to this previous generation to carry on their dream? Do I owe anything? You know, what does it mean to be a son? Like all those things kind of were popping into my head as you were saying that.
Wow. A generational relay race is not something I've put, to thought regarding all that, but that is very accurate, observation there, because when you see a relay race, like the first runner or whatever, the runner before you, the runners before you, like dictate how fast you're going to run, and they dictate your position in the race.
Yeah.
So like if they're running with everything they got, well then you're only like doing a disservice to their effort by not running with everything you got.
Right.
And so, yeah, that baton becomes something bigger than just this thing you're holding in your hand. It's like the sum of all their efforts.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, and I think we used to hear a lot more. I think when families, and this is a hypothetical, but when families seemed closer and we needed more entertainment from our fathers and forefathers, and we got lore passed down and family history, when there was more storytelling, when you couldn't get as much storytelling from like phones and television and stuff as we can in the past few generations, but when it came from like those, the predecessors of ours and our forefathers and mothers, that kind of stuff, it like beat inside of us like a drum, you know?
Yeah.
What kind of, did you feel a pressure? Like, and did something your father passed away?
Yeah, he passed away 7 years ago at the age of 59, and it happened. Yeah, he was very young, and it was a sudden thing, and it was.
Was he sick?
Well, he had like this pulmonary fibrosis thing that was starting, but he ended up dying of a pulmonary like embolism, like a blood clot in his lungs, and it was a very sudden thing that I don't think anybody really expected. And
he was living in Indiana.
He was living in southern Indiana, and he was doing quite well, and like everything kind of changed in about 6 months, and then he suddenly this embolism showed up, and I tried to get there because his body was like shutting down. And,
what do you mean? So an embolism? Can you bring it up just so I know, Trevin? Sorry to interrupt you, Stephen.
No, don't.
Just
sorry.
like Sometimes I've let information fly and I don't know what it is. An embolism. A pulmonary embolism is a blood clot that travels to and blocks an artery in the lungs, cutting off normal blood flow and oxygen exchange and creating a potentially life-threatening emergency. So had this been happening for a while and then it got bad?
Yeah. And so he had obviously some things going on that he never knew was happening. And then, yeah, it got to that life-threatening emergency point. And then there is a point where they can only do so much. And he was a bit of a cowboy and, those kind of classic dudes that don't want to go to the doctor and I'll tough it out kind of thing. I'm sure there was a lot of that mentality going into it. Also, there was poor health care. He was a victim of the American healthcare system too in that regard. I won't get into all that. But yeah, like that was a big part of it.
We've talked about that a lot over the years. It's a nightmare, and the stress they put people through trying to deal with their own taking care of themselves. It's like, yeah, it's a nightmare.
Especially at his age, at 59, he was starting to feel like, oh, you're just like a forgotten human. They don't, they don't really want to take care of you. They want to do everything but that. Like you got to fight tooth and nail to take care of yourself, and that, at least where he was at that time. And I got a really panicked call from my sister that morning. Said, you need to get here like now. Like Dad is very sick and we don't know what's happening. And they rushed him to the emergency room. And I jumped in my car and sped up there and I said goodbye to him in the middle of Kentucky on the side of I-65 on an iPhone 8 on the side of a highway. And that was
pulled over to make it quieter?
Yeah. And just so I didn't lose signal, I was so worried that, because, the middle of Kentucky is the middle of nowhere. And like, what if I drop the call? Like, yeah. And, so I just pulled over it was insane. I just, the sound of like semis flying by me at like 90 miles an hour, but literally being I felt like I was in a bubble, like not like the world stopped around me in that little car. Like a semi could have taken the side of that car off. I wouldn't even had known it, or, I would have I was in a state of absolute shock and horror. It was a very traumatizing experience.
And you were on a FaceTime call?
No, it was just on a video or a normal phone call.
Was he able to speak to you?
He was, and he
did he know that it could be like his last moment?
He knew he was
bothering
dying.
you by asking you this?
No, I talk about it a lot on stage. I kind of relive it every night, and that's been a challenge for me, like mentally, kind of. But it's also been like the beautiful part of unpacking trauma and grief, because I'm not. Like our music, like really, it finds the grieving, and I think it's important for me to grieve as well. Like I go through grief every night, and but he was such a gangster in that moment. He knew he had maybe 90 seconds left on this earth. He knew he was not just going, but going fast. He even told me, he's like, I'm going, Stephen, and. Sorry. But yeah, he was so calm about it. He said everything was going to be okay.
Oh,
that was his first thing he said, like such a dad thing to say. And he said, write a good song for me, Stephen. And he said, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you 4 times. And
he wanted you to know for sure.
Yeah, he wanted there to be no doubt. And so I say it more than once all the time now, because I from that experience, I kind of realized that people are counting, and I was counting, and it was weird. Like on that last "I love you," it's almost like his voice got quieter, like he was literally being pulled, like God was snatching him from the universe in that last "I love you."
Wow.
And he was gone 30 seconds later. Oh. And that was it. I was the last person he spoke to, and I'm really grateful that I got to speak to him. And in that moment, in that car, I was so angry at God. I was so angry at him, even my dad. I was like, how dare you die on me like this? Like, Like it wasn't supposed to happen. Like none of it was supposed to happen like that.
Yeah.
Like I was under the impression he was invincible, first of all. And he was just so young, and he was just such a, just such a lively, such a bright light. So it didn't seem possible. And then, even to people in my hometown, they were in disbelief when he died. Like it was like, because his life force was so big that like people were in denial. It's like, that's impossible. There's no way he could be dead. Like, and I was like, no, he really is. And it was a tough thing to really come to terms with. But with any great reaction or any like chemical reaction, there is a catalyst. And I have to say, the reason I'm here and the reason I'm anywhere right now is because of that conversation. It was, you have a product and a reactant, and then there's a catalyst, and that conversation is what catalyzed my whole career.
Really?
And that write a good song for me, Stephen. Was like a lifetime's worth of jet fuel for me to charge across the galaxy and do everything I could to try and keep him alive. To try and just tell the world about him, that
carry out his wish.
Yeah, I mean, what I found out is like carrying out his wish and keeping him alive was keeping so many other people that other folks have lost, other humans have lost, alive. He was resurrecting other people at the same time. And these people were coming to shows with this, with his bounty of love that had no place to go, and that's what grief is essentially. And I gave them, these songs have given them a home for at least maybe 3.5 or 4 minutes, and and that's really been the charge of all of this. That's been the mission statement is, at the very beginning was just keep Dad alive, keep him alive at all costs. And, like kind of a psychotic denial for the first couple of years that he was even gone. I was like, no, he's still around. And a lot of times I felt them on my shoulders like a little kid. It was really weird. It was like this weird reversal of roles. And
well, now that he's free, he kind of could do as he wants, he could be on your shoulders.
Yeah, he would show up like that. And the reason why I play this song Stand By Me, it's just literally 2 weeks after he died, I was scheduled to play this songwriter festival in Deadwood, South Dakota. And it's in the Black Hills, and it's a very spiritually charged area, just in general.
Yeah, for sure it is.
And the guy that runs it says, you don't have to play any music. I know you're in a bad spot. I hadn't slept in a week, and he's like, just come here and see what happens. Just be around people. Like, there's nothing but love for you here, and we know you've gone through it. And at the end of the festival, they asked all the writers and stuff there, if you wanted to play a cover, what's your favorite cover that you love? And they did this big finale. I'd been, for some reason, for about a year prior to my dad's death, I'd been singing the song Stand By Me in my living room the exact way I play it now.
It just popped in your head it just kind of came into you?
Yeah, and like for some reason I was, like, that song has haunted me my whole life because of the movie Stand By Me.
Oh, for sure. That's a big part of a lot of people's, that movie was huge in people's lives for so many little moments.
Yeah, like I very much saw myself in the kid on the left, the
Corey Feldman?
The Gordy LaChance. No, what was his name? Will Wheaton, like the writer that was trying to find a voice, the nerdy little writer kid on the left.
Yeah,
and that song like was threaded so brilliantly throughout that film, and it's obviously the title, but because of that movie, which is also a Stephen King story, that movie is based off a Stephen King novella called The Body. So, it was obviously a very haunting and dark theme, but that song really haunted me because of that movie. And I just started playing it. I was like trying to, I don't know, kind of deconstruct it, try to process it in a different way. And when my dad died, fast forward to Deadwood, all I could play was Stand By Me.
Wow.
And I started playing it. And I'd really never played it for anybody like that, and the whole place like just went crazy. Like, and at that point, I was not an artist. I just quit my job as a scientist. I've been a published writer for maybe 2 years at that point, just trying to get other artists to sing my songs. And I never really saw myself as an artist, even though my dad did. Like, he would always be like, why don't you just sing these songs? You sound great singing them. But I would always argue with him, like, no, I don't do that. I write them. Someone else sings them. But when I went up there to sing Stand By Me, I swear to God, he was like on my shoulders like a little kid. And I got so addicted to that feeling again. Like, because he was there. He showed up. And I truly believe he showed up at Bridgestone at the CMAs. Like, he did. He showed up that night. And
I bet he was so proud of you. Do you feel like he's proud of you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he was so proud of me before he died, before any of this happened, and I think he would be very proud. I've been trying to make him proud my whole life, but
what did he said? Write a song for me or make us? What did he say? Sorry,
write a
I'm
good song
leaking over here.
No, man, I leak all the time.
Yeah, dude, I listen to stuff that makes me cry all the time because I think I'm just full of tears and I got to get these bitches out, even though I'm dehydrated half the time. So I'm like, I don't even know what's going on here, dude.
No, it's good for you. Like, when my dad died, I swear all I did was cry for 2 years. It's all I did. And
you got to
lately,
get it out.
If you can find the tears, find them. Like right now, I can't find them.
Yeah.
I mean, even though I get emotional, don't get me wrong, but
yeah, sometimes you have tears and sometimes you don't. It's like almost like seasons, you know? It's almost like an ocean. Sometimes it comes up on the shore and sometimes it's out to sea, you know, even though it's, you know, it lives
it's a
right.
tide.
Yeah. So it's like, and especially I think people that have had like a lot of things in their life that have happened that haven't been processed, you know, it takes a long time. And I think I've gotten grateful in my life over time where if I find something that helps me process, I'll sit there and process it. My brother says a lot of times, he's like, yeah, getting rid of grief and like trauma, like that old stuff. And people use trauma as a buzzword, but getting rid of grief and stuff from the past, he's like, it's like taking pennies out of a bathtub one at a time. He's like, you know, it takes a long time and it's slow and it's just kind of arduous work. But you just be grateful that it can kind of happen over time. What he said, make a good song for me.
Write a good song for me.
Write a good song for me.
Yeah, because he knew that's all I could think about. And
that's the baton, man. That's the baton.
Yeah, he used to come to all my shows. And when I say shows, like playing for 7 people at Writers Round. Or and he came to the Bluebird Cafe. I remember had his you remember when they had those giant phones that were like the size of laptops, you know? But,
those T-Mobile sidekicks? Yeah, baby, them bitches was beautiful.
Yeah, he had one of those bad boys, and he would just hold it up and record the whole show. He used to drive me crazy. And
dude, there's nothing crazier than watching like a boomer kind of like record something, or even just somebody from a generation above. We went to the UFC fights the other day, and some guy was recorded every single fight. I'm like, he had a front row seat. And he was recording, and there was a TV right next to him playing the fights. I'm like, you can just go home and watch. Like, I just didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was there and that he cared so much about it and that he loved watching you do it.
Yeah, there was this one song that's on the record called I'm a Song. And he watched me play that for the first time at Bluebird Cafe. I'd just written it like that week.
Right over here?
Yeah, Bluebird Cafe. And he had his gigantic phone. I'll never forget. And I was like, Dad, please put your phone down. But he recorded that whole song. And then he called me a week later, kept talking about that song. And about a month before he died, it was Father's Day weekend, I came up to see him. And we went to a tractor pull, and then we went home and watched some fights. And he goes, hey, Steven, you know that song you played at the Bluebird like a month ago? It's called I'm a Song. And I was like, whoa, how do you even know that? Like, I because I was in that point of like writing, 200 songs a year. I was writing, 10 songs a week. So like a month ago, like that, I'm a Song was like 50 songs ago. So I was like, oh, yeah, I know that. And he's like, yeah, you played at the Bluebird Cafe. And he's like, that's my favorite song. And I was like, oh, thank you, Dad. And you're like, I thought he meant like it's my favorite song, his favorite song of mine. And he was like, no, you listen to me. That's my favorite song ever.
Wow.
And I was like, how are you even listening to it? He'd been listening to me play it on the Bluebird, at the Bluebird on his gigantic T-Mobile, whatever that thing is. And that's how he was actually my first fan. And he was the, you know, he would breathe so much life into me. He believed in me so much more than I ever believed in myself. Wow. And I remember him saying, you should sing that song. And when he died, I sang it at his funeral. Oh. And it was one of the hardest songs I've ever sang. But in that moment, like that was when, you know, I knew things were about to change. And but yeah, and that song has helped so many people. And it's I don't know, it's been a bit of a thesis statement for me. And so when he said write a good song for me, he knew I had already written one, at least in his eyes, because it was his favorite song ever. So he knew, at least he had proof on his phone that I was capable of writing something great. And I guess his last charge was to please keep going and don't stop. And as a, you know,
it's got to feel good for him to be like, even in a moment, like, I mean, that's crazy to say this. What am I talking about? But in a moment of leaving the earth, to know that you have a son or someone who, you know, you've created that's capable. You know, you have a child that you believe is capable. I wonder what, you know what I'm saying? Or something like that?
No, and my other siblings are also very capable. He's very proud of all of us equally. But I think he knew something about me was different very young. I was a very quiet kid, a very nerdy kid. I had his name and his eyes, but, you know, outside of that, we were so different. So I think he just knew I was going to do something different. He's
probably really intrigued, I bet.
Yeah. And I like picked up guitar and taught myself. And he was like just always mesmerized by like my musical ability, because it seemed like magic to him, because it was God-given. Nobody taught me how to do this.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Oh, you just picked it up and started playing?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I learned some tablature and but you know, I sucked real bad then. But that was
this is you right here?
Yeah, that was probably like a week after I got my first guitar, and if that even.
Let me
maybe
see
a couple
some of
days.
this.
Then we're watching Mama's Family. Yep. Yeah, that's Lithium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is that? Is that your dad now?
No, that was just some random old dude. And this is after my dad had passed away. Like none of this stuff, like on my whole music, I didn't have any music out when he was alive.
Oh, okay. So they're just packaging this all up.
Yeah, this is all like old VHS footage from when I was a kid. That's me getting my first guitar for my 16th birthday, even though I look like I'm 12.
Look how hot. Look, go back. Look, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Right. A little more right there. Look how happy. You can see though how happy and cool.
Hands through the hair,
you can see for a second. See if you can catch his face a second earlier, maybe a second later.
It was.
You can see how right there. You can just see how happy he is. You know, that's cool, dude.
Thank you.
I'm gonna be cool now.
No,
it's so fun, dude.
I might actually have. You know, I might actually be able to talk to a girl now.
Oh, dude. Yeah. At least if you walk up with a guitar, at least you're fucking just like, hey, at least they'll be like, hey, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? At least you have some sort of semblance instead of putting hair in your eyes and hiding behind it.
That's what I did. I said nothing to nobody.
Oh, dude. That was most of my childhood when I was growing up. I was thinking about, what are the responsibilities of a son? You know, people don't think about that a lot. I think about, what do my parents owe me a lot as a kid, or I have probably. You know, like my parents didn't do this, or my parents didn't do that. You know, that's been, you know, or some things didn't happen and should have happened. That's fair. But when I start to harp on the other stuff and it gets into this like, oh, woe is me, or pity me type of thing, you know, that can be kind of a unsafe area to go into. But the two can be easily connected, like things that, yes, a parent should do these things, or those things should be a child's life should include these things and they don't happen. And then, well, a parent, they don't owe you these things, but attaching those together. But I never think about like, what are my responsibilities as a son, or as a child? You know what I'm saying? You don't think that, because at a certain point you do have some responsibility in it yourself,
Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of thought about that. And, I grew up thinking the same thing as you, like maybe, things should have been different but at the same time, I tend to think about my parents as children because they had me as children. They were like, it was a shotgun wedding. My mama was 6 months pregnant. They were teenagers having babies. And so I also think about them like, oh my gosh, like I have a lot of sympathy for them as I was older. But, growing up, I had, anger and resentment towards certain things that I did not understand. But I've kind of tried to, understand that, it's very like biological about like kind of how fathers and sons are just children and their parents. In the beginning of your father is like superhuman, or he's a superhero. Like humanize, demonize, and idolize is kind of how I put it down. So in the beginning, you idolize your father, and you idolize everything they do. I remember idolizing my father, like wanting to be a boxer just like him, wanting to do so many things like him, and I would hide in his shadow, and I idolized him my whole childhood. And then once I got into my teen years, that's when that separation starts to begin, and you start to demonize your parents. And you go through this whole demonization of your father or your parents, and it's actually very biological. This is how, like, genetic diversity was spread, because we're a tribal species. So, like, the young boy, the young man in his reproductive years would start to demonize the parents and get away from the tribe and go join another tribe.
So he can procreate.
So he can procreate and create genetic diversity.
Right, because if he procreates too close to his own tribe, you also risk like
inbreeding.
Yeah, like the guy that taught me how to drive.
Yeah, exactly.
Then and I'm not saying no shade, Brandon. I think he was bred properly. It was just, God put some odd paints in his palate.
We love you, Brandon.
Yeah, we do love you. And actually, he passed away a few years ago, and we do love you. He's a special guy.
Oh man, I'm so sorry, Brandon. But yeah, and then as I think eventually you come back home. There's always like this prodigal son kind of moment, and that's where you humanize your father, because that's what happened with me. Like, you start off as a kid idolizing it. You get to teenage years, those years that he got me that guitar. I was probably going to start demonizing him soon. And
he wanted you to at least have a backbeat for it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Something to like put all those angsty lyrics
at least put that anger to lyrics.
Yeah, at least make it a bop. And then
that's hilarious,
and then
bro.
I remember when I was 25, like I was sitting on the porch with my dad, and I just remembered, I was like, "You're just a dude."
Oh yeah.
And that's when the humanization hit, and I was like, "You're just another dude doing the best you can," and I could see it in his eyes, and we were just kind of like. We were, the father and son dynamic was still there, but he was now a friend and something bigger than a father.
Well, he's another human, like you're saying.
He's just another human.
And that's a tough moment. And it's an interesting moment, too, to look at, because it almost breaks down the wars you were fighting, or the whatever, it breaks down like
breaks
a lot.
Down everything.
Right. It breaks down the pedestal you held this person on in a way, some of it, but it also breaks down if you've been demonizing it, like, well, who am I fighting? I'm not fighting against, the 32-year-old dad, the guy that I knew who like walked by me and didn't glance, or whatever your thoughts are, whatever your, whatever like you're envisioning. That's not there anymore, and it's like, then what? Then this whole like baton that I'm still carrying of anger, it's not even real.
Yeah.
So what's really happening here with me? And that's like a moment you kind of have to look at yourself as well, and that's kind of painful.
Yeah, it's very much a self-reflective moment, and you kind of start to see kind of like, man, I was a selfish little shit, or I was, maybe you were justified in certain areas, but at the end of the day, they're just another human doing the best they can, just like you.
And who am I going to be now? That's the thing too.
Yeah.
And sometimes I go back and I put on my sometimes I go back and I'm the same person, but more often than not these days, I do a decent job of like, well, let me be the leader instead of saying you should have led me or you should let me grow up. It's like, how many times am I going to fucking miss the grow up bus, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm on it,
Mm-hmm.
but still sometimes I'll be there at the stop in the morning and I'll be like, nah, I'm gonna let that bitch go today. You know what I'm saying? I ain't getting on that bitch today.
No.
So some of that's interesting, and it's interesting to look at, and you're still just a human looking at it and trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's I think all part of the journey, and like it's rooted in something very old. Like I always thought like that teen angst thing was like something created in the 90s or something. It's like, no, this is pre-biblical. This is something that's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
If you study primates enough, and you can really kind of see you can learn a lot about humans by studying primates, because they're also, we're technically primates too. And,
there's rumors.
There's rumors. Yeah. I mean, we're all part of the animal kingdom Animalia, and we are of the, we're technically of the greater apes. That's what they call us.
What do you think happened? What do you think there about evolution? Because it's so tricky, it's so like, because we're the only people that are out here, it feels like suffering like this sometimes.
Can I take a piss and get back to this question? Because this has got an answer.
Yeah, let's take a break and piss, man. Yeah. With the new year upon us, sometimes you got to think about your new moves. How you going to do things different? Especially if you're running an online business or considering it. Whether it's dropping new stuff or looking over how you did and strategizing from there, or just figuring out why the heck those pocket t-shirts sold out. Shopify is like your co-founder that doesn't ask for a cut, helps you plan, keeps the whole situation rolling smooth, and lets you keep building your empire without pulling your hair out over spreadsheets. Shopify makes it easy. That's why we use them. It's just less chaos, more, hey, I can actually do this. You don't need to be a coder or a designer. Shopify's got templates galore. Pick what fits your vibe, make your shop look smart, no sweat. Whether you've got an idea rattling around or you're really just about to launch your own brand, there's never been an easier way to do it. Check out shopify.com/Theo and see just how simple it is to get your thing out there. Let's see what you can build with Shopify riding shotgun. Is pornography causing a problem in your life? Do you find yourself watching porno for longer periods of time and having trouble stopping? Is porn affecting your relationship or dating life? Well, you're certainly not alone. Watching pornography has become so commonplace today, and oftentimes men use porn to numb the pain of loneliness, boredom, anxiety, and depression. Shame and stigma prevent men from talking about these issues and getting help for them. I want to introduce you to my friend Steve. Steve is the founder of Valor Recovery, a program to help men overcome porn abuse and sexual compulsivity. Steve is a long-term sexual recovery member and has personally overcome the emotional and spiritual despair of abusing pornography and has dedicated his life to empowering men to do the same. Steve is an amazing person, and he is a close friend of mine. I mean that. Valor Recovery helps men to develop the tools necessary to have a healthier sex life. Their coaches are in long-term recovery and will be your partner, mentor, and spiritual guide to transcend these problematic behaviors. To learn more about Valor Recovery, please visit them at www.valorrecoverycoaching.com or email them at admin@valorrecoverycoaching.com. Thank you. There you go, brother.
Wow.
Popping into that Celsius, brother.
Cheers.
I'll have a little with you.
Let's do it.
There you go. Stephen Wilson Jr. right there, boy. Yeah, I remember I came to and we just took a bathroom break and Stephen put on a nice sweater.
Yeah, I did. It's nice. It looks like my grandma's curtains, so it feels.
Oh yeah, dude. My grandfather worked at a factory in their town. It was a small town called Wyoming, Illinois. It was real small, and But it was nice when we went there because it just, the world kind of made sense there a little more. It was like a safe place to be. They had a park right across the street. And they had a garden where, like, most people had gardens where they grew like strawberries and tomatoes. Everybody had tomato plants, cherry tomato plants. And the summers, the roads would bubble in the summer from the tar. Yeah. And so it was like kind of crazy because every now and then you'd be an idiot, at least once a year, and you would run across to the park, but you would not have your shoes on, and you would hit that road, and you would literally, you would have what we called NAACP feet, you know? And it was, I don't know if that's a racially charged term or not. I don't think it is. I think it's safe. But yeah, but the crazy part is, once you got the NAACP, you'd be faster at the park, and that was the craziest part too.
Yeah, we got that extra soul now.
Oh, yeah, it is. That's what it was.
Yeah, you got something to grip now.
Oh, dude, you went home. My grandmother knew.
Bio souls.
Yeah, you were locked.
Like, you got a free pair of Nikes.
Yeah, you did, bro. But there was so many fun things just about being in like a small Midwestern community. The safety of it, the bike riding, the like baseball cards. Dude, we would go to this place.
Baseball cards, man.
They had a dime store.
The smell of them. The shitty chewing gum in the pack. That was so stale.
It was so gross. You'd eat it anyway.
I chew it every time.
Yes.
I'd be like, every time. I don't care how bad it is.
Sometimes it would just disintegrate.
Yeah. Somebody would like break off and like you could open a box with it.
And yeah, you could, dude. And every card was Mark Grace. I felt like every card was Mark Grace or dude. Sean Dunston or Chris Sabo. They were all
Wade Boggs.
Yes.
Yeah. Sabo. Gosh, man, you're dropping heat.
Well, dude, I mean, your song 1994 was like, it's just one of the best pieces of nostalgia.
Oh,
like I remember like when I was a kid, my mom had this rug in her room, and it was like I think it was a cow. I don't know where she got it from or something, but it was kind of like a prized possession. It was just like a cow skin rug. It could have been a damn Dalmatian or something. I don't know. It looked like it could have been a big Dalmatian. It could have been
Dalmatian rug.
It could have been a Great Dane, and we got swindled. But anyway, she said it was a cow, and I would lay there, and I would like put my face right, and I would inhale it, and like, because I didn't get to spend a lot of time with my mom, but sometimes at night, like, she would put on hand cream or something, and that was like a big thing. When I was a kid, hand cream came out for women, and so women were always just God. I'd be like, Mom, do you love me? And she'd be like, well, hold on, let me put this hand cream on, you know? It was, it was just, she had, every woman at the time had to have hand cream. It's like, they couldn't even cook anymore because they couldn't open the cupboards because they just were too, they would slip out of their hands. I think women were just looking for an excuse to get out of the kitchen. Like, well, I can't pick up a pot.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll drop it.
I have too much hand cream on.
Everything's cast iron back then and heavy.
It was like, we can't afford to lose any of this.
Yeah.
But I would lay in there, and I would like put my face on the carpet, like on the rug, and I would inhale that smell of like leather, and I would just kind of pretend that like I lived in like a different world, or that like we didn't have a dad around, so I don't know if I'd pretend like there was like this manly energy or just something, you know. It would kind of like, the smell would fuel my imagination, you know, and I would just fantasize that like we lived on like a Ponderosa, or that we lived out in like New Mexico or Texas or something, you know, or like, I don't know, just that things were different. But there was something about when you were a kid, or when you were young, and just putting your face on the carpet. It was like we used to do, there wasn't, you weren't on your phone all the time.
Yeah.
And TV, you couldn't just have whatever you wanted. So you would just do kind of crazy things.
You look under the couch just to see what was under there. Like, nobody does that anymore.
Yeah, that was exciting. That was almost like taking a vacation or whatever, just looking under there.
Get a flashlight, man, that'd blow your mind. Like, oh, there's a whole other world under here. Like spiders, there's like...
Yes. You'd be curious about your own world.
Yeah.
You were curious about the things you had in your own world, and you'd ask, Mama, what is this for? Why do we have this? There was just a lot more like the storytelling you needed. It was like more prevalent, you know? And you had to tell a story. You had to find some value. Like, we created the stories. There wasn't like the internet where you could just go and like, share this link, you know? That's why the storytellers were so valuable then, because it was like, oh, you got to ask him. The only way you're going to hear this is if you ask him, you know, or her, and they're going to tell you about it. And man, that was the best. Dude.
Well, do you think, this may be out of place here, but because I feel like stand-up comedy and songwriting is kind of our last kind of that is our storytelling now. Because like you're right, people don't pass down those stories generally anymore like they used to. And I wonder if people are craving comedy and craving songwriting in the same way that we used to, because there maybe is a lack of that, those stories being passed down, and that because I feel like great comedians are great storytellers and great songwriters are great storytellers, and that is something that our culture is really not latching on to, is telling stories. Even like a good joke, it's hard to find somebody. When I was growing up, there would always be like somebody that would just have like 1,000 jokes. And they weren't comedians, they weren't professional comedians, and they weren't wanting to be, but they just had a myriad of jokes, which are basically stories. Like they would go, they would infuse the jokes into the stories. Like you wouldn't know if they were telling the truth or not. And that was like, it's kind of a lost art that you don't really see like happening a lot anymore. And
yeah, they had good storytelling. Well, storytelling was a big thing. Well, I think this is a more general way to look at it. I think we've lost some creativity.
Yeah.
And I think we've lost creativity in a lot of ways. I think it's one of the reasons why Los Angeles has struggled in some ways, because in Hollywood has kind of struggled in some ways. And I say this like in the sense that it started to feel super uncreative out there, right? And I don't mean to speak bad on that, but I just think it's a note for that we're missing some creativity in the world. And I think the gatekeepers of creativity are starting to fall. So I think I think we're in a desperate place for creativity and for authenticity, where creativity, you feel like there's something genuine about it.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
No,
it's a great question, man.
I think authentic is, like you said, is because it's really hard to authenticate anything anymore. It's kind of hard to find out what is real and what is not. And, I tend to authenticate things with emotions and experience. Like if I write a song, I kind of have to write it from, I can't write or perform anything that I cannot authenticate from my own experiences and my own emotions. So
did that make it tough for you to write songs for other people?
I think that was a big challenge for me, trying to get other people to see the authentication of my emotions and finding that authenticity within themselves, perhaps, and that alignment happening was a difficult challenge. And
for you, say you write a song, somebody takes it or somebody accepts it, and they're gonna cut it. And then you're like, it doesn't really fit that person. That's a nightmare too that you don't think about.
Yeah,
and then it's really
happens.
tough.
Yeah.
Did it ever happen to you?
Yeah, it did. And I mean, but I think a lot of it is they weren't able to authenticate the emotion that the music had come from, that it had originated from. And that's not their fault, and it's really not mine. It was just kind of the nature of the business. But yeah, I think,
it's tough.
If I've had any advantage, is like the only way I can create a song is I have to authenticate it in something truly real. I can't do fantasy music. I can't be like something. I can't be Superman. I can't be a Marvel character, and I can't play something I'm not.
I think it's because there's too much of you already who you are that I don't even think it would fit. You're just a rare foot.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like a rare foot. It's like, some feet, it can be like, oh, we'll put it in something. It'll look good here. It'll look good here. But I think when you're like, no, that's.
Yeah, I was called different a lot as a kid. It was not a compliment most of the time. It was rarely, but I have to say it has been an advantage as of late. And being the weirdo finally helped out. And
oh, for sure. For so long you're Clark Kent and you're in there just changing clothes in a phone booth or whatever, and people are like, this guy is a pervert or whatever.
Yeah.
And then eventually you come out and some things start to fit. Yes. I've heard you say that songwriting kind of was like a survival tool for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the right words.
It was like it was my therapy, especially in those first couple years after my dad died. Like I kind of I used science and songwriting at the same time because I have a lot of training in science. I went and got a science degree. I worked.
Where'd you go to Purdue?
No, I went to MTSU.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and I worked at Mars, the food company, and R&D for them as a food scientist.
No way.
Yeah.
Mars Candies?
Yeah.
Research and development for them?
Yeah, they're
baby.
based. They're
and
based
y'all make
out of,
Snickers, huh?
They do, but I actually I worked in pet food for them, which is based out here in Nashville, the Nashville area at least.
God,
And
so you were snacking on that, huh?
yep, that's me right there.
Shit, I wouldn't even go to work if that's all they had in the damn snack bowl.
Yep, and they did. They had like buckets of Snickers. I put on like 30 pounds.
Oh, I was talking about pet food.
No, oh yeah, that.
I'm like, if I ate that much pet food, I'd wear a damn helmet too. That's insane.
Yeah. People did eat pet food there. I saw it.
Would some people try a little, got used to it?
Yeah, I'd see some people do it. Like sometimes, like you'd see some high level people do it too. Like it's like you don't need to do this, dude. Like,
oh shit, that's just Cracker Jack Russell. You
yeah,
know,
they're just trying to like get down. Get down with us a little bit.
Oh, yes. Some people love animals so much. They'll have there's people that, even videos of people that will snack with them and have those little treats.
Yeah, I don't advise it from a microbiological perspective.
Really?
Because I have a micro degree as well. I wouldn't eat raw cat food, like wet cat food. I mean,
no.
It does go through like a
that
cooking
shit makes
process.
my wiener soft, brother. I'll tell you that out the gate.
But I did see dudes eat it.
Would you?
Yeah, like with a spoon, like wet cat food. Eat
Why?
it. I think it was a flex.
No.
There's a flex, yeah.
Is there one type that's the good type? Take me through some of that.
No, it's all as far as like cat food to eat.
Yeah, it gets a little snack.
No, I don't want to try none of it because I knew what was in that, and I knew like what was in like proteins and like all that goes into those foods, and I understood all the kill steps and stuff were there, but I also know that my digestive tract is far different from a feline's or canines, and we ain't made to eat what they're made to eat. And so yeah, I did not partake, but yeah, you'd see a dude like take a big spoonful of cat food and then like drive off in his Lamborghini because it was usually like a high level person.
Yes,
like
it's a power move.
It was a power move. Yeah, it was impressive though. I was like, damn.
Dude, I was just talking to my friend this morning at breakfast about things that the powerful do and why they operate certain ways, because it's like, yeah, what can I do? How weirder could this get if you have everything? If the basic, like, I need to make money to survive, I need to feed my family, or once you have like, I have 7 wives living in different cities, I'm gonna live in a jet, or I live in some people might be living on other planets now, they wouldn't even know.
Got their own islands.
Yes. And it's like, then at this point, yes, I'm having cat food, but I want the greatest cat food ever. I want cat food that cats can't even afford to eat.
Yeah. And sometimes they pretend like they could discern between, be like, they're not gonna like this. I was like, but you're not a cat. Yeah, like how do you?
Or he eats it. He's eating. That's
so,
for cats.
He's like saying, like he's basically stating he's eaten so much of this food he can now discern between what will work and what will not.
He's like, oh, that's good.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, that's good, huh?
Oh, that's good. They're gonna love
chocolate.
this. Yeah,
Yeah,
the Himalayan cats are gonna love this.
Tilapia aftertaste. What was a product that you guys made while you were there? Do you remember one product that kind of came through?
Yeah, it's called Dentistix Fresh. It's still on the market. I see it out there.
And it's for animals?
Yeah, it's for dogs. It's basically a teeth cleaning dental chew.
Oh, it's pretty cool.
Very digestible. There it is. That's my baby right there.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah, that was one of my products that I launched from start to finish, and yeah,
that's cool.
It's cool. It's cool to see it kind of out there still doing its thing.
Yeah. At the end of a show, you hum some of those out in the audience.
Yeah, I probably need to start chucking them out there. Like take a bite out of them.
I'll catch one, dude. I'll come on stage, catch one in my mouth.
No, I would eat one of those if I had to, but I wouldn't eat none of that cat food.
That's fair. And look, I love to hear that.
That's mostly like flour. That's mostly wheat flour, and it got, it ain't got the same ingredients that cats do.
Did you ever pitch a product that they didn't like, or are you allowed to pitch products? You did?
Yeah, I did. I pitched a lot of products, but at the end of the day, I was the geeky scientist, and they're like, you need to make what you need to make, and they have a much, I think, a greater understanding of what the market requires than some of us geeky scientists do. I had my own lab, and I would come up with these new things and new designs and pitch them in my free time, and there was a lot of creativity to it, and that was, there's actually a lot more creativity to analysis than you think, and there's a lot more analysis to creativity than you think. I think the two can work very well together. And like back to what I was saying, but like when my dad died, I was able to kind of apply science and songwriting because I was like so devastated, but like I was kind of able to metaphorically put a lab coat on and go into researcher mode, and that's kind of where the songs came from. I just started like looking at my pain from another perspective, like trying to look at it from the outside in, like as an observer, and then just kind of documenting my findings as I went. Like I spent 4 years making this record, Son of Dad, and like 2 or 3 of those years were research years, just me documenting everything I was going through.
Wow.
And keeping, meticulous records like scientists do, but I was channeling that into songs instead of like, a pet food product, but I was still using the same methodology, like, cause I had to be true to it. Because that's the thing about science. It's just a truth detection tool. It's not an ideology or a paradigm. It's just an effective tool if it's used correctly.
It's like a metal detector.
Yeah, exactly. Or a chainsaw. Even if you use it great, it can be great. But if you use it right, it can be great. If you use it wrong, it might cut your damn hand off. Like science created the atomic bomb. It's also created cures for incurable diseases that we thought. It's a beautiful thing, but at the end of the day, it's just a tool for detecting truth. And I used it like that. So I would have this question and I'd have my observations, and then I would create a hypothesis, as you would say, which would basically be a song title, an idea. And I would go out and test it in the world. I'd play it in front of 7 people here, 10 people there, 7 people here, 7 people there, and I would get instant data, like feedback, which is data that in the scientific field we can spend 6 months before it can be 6 months before you get your first result from an experiment. So I was getting instant results. So I loved that part of it.
Yeah, I think that instant feedback is, it helps you know what's going on. It's even like working with jokes, and getting them out there.
Absolutely.
That's pretty fascinating how like the parts of your life, like to be a scientist, to have like a methodology, to then use it to channel your emotions and look at them. You look at your emotions, look at your life, look at the path of things, to put like, to almost like take a template of science and apply it to something as emotional as music.
Yeah, I kind of joke around calling myself a song scientist, but that's essentially what it is. Because user bias is like it can so easily contaminate your results and contaminate your entire experiment and experience. And so I really was trying to use user bias because I was trying to authenticate something in one of my own emotions and experiences, but also take user bias out of it, because at the end of the day, you got to find the truth. And just because you don't like the results doesn't mean they're not true. And that's where user bias like gets in the way, because you want the results to be different. Maybe you really like this song, but you're not getting the results that you thought it was going to get. So you start adjusting your formula. Yeah, and then before you know it, you got conclusive results. Either conclusively, this is not the truth, or conclusively, this is the truth. And then you run with the truth, whether it's good for you or bad for you. And that's...
Yeah, I was just looking at this right here. It says user bias refers to cognitive tendencies that distort how individuals perceive, interpret, or respond during research. What are examples of user bias?
For example, you think that this is going to work. For whatever reason, you have a hunch like that this whatever thing is going to work, and you've now like attached an emotion to it because you almost need it to work now. Now it's more about you than it is about the truth. Like, so when you go into like an experiment, it doesn't need to work out for you. Like, your feelings have to be completely separate from this.
If you're doing true research.
Yeah, if you're going to be a true researcher and using the scientific method the proper way. So, that's, I guess, when you get into a song, especially a song about your dad or a song about loss, it's easy to be like, well, it needs to be like this. It needs to say this, or it needs to say that, because that's what's going to make me feel good. But that's may not be the truth.
Yeah, I think your songs don't really take me on they don't take me on a typical journey of like a beginning, middle, and end, I guess. And some of them are different than others, of course.
Yes,
but yeah, I guess sometimes you think of a song, especially if it's a country song, I think, of having like a beginning, middle, and end, almost like a journey. Whereas yours sometimes sort of like take me on a ride past something or through something.
Yeah.
And it's not as much of like, you're giving me this story as much as you are providing some things, and I'm remembering the story of mine that associates with it sometimes.
Yeah. Well,
maybe.
I feel like my favorite.
And I'm not trying to like, what the fuck do I know? But some of that happens with your music. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's if there's any goal I've ever had as a songwriter is to basically do that, because I remember I heard this song called "Don't Take the Girl" on a school bus when I was a kid. It made a mess out of me. And
yeah, because everything, it's like, and this is now he's 20 years older, and then now it's the end of the time.
But I was able, in the weirdest way, because my mama was, my mom and dad divorced when I was really young, and she was with some abusive men, and she lived in Tennessee when I was a kid, and I spent most of my childhood very worried about her, like.
Really?
Very worried about her getting killed or hurt really badly.
Why did she like abusive men, do you think?
I think probably a lot. Her childhood was very, very hard.
Oh, so maybe something happened and then she related to it.
I think.
She's a beautiful lady. What's her name?
Kathy Lynn.
Kathy Lynn. There she is.
Yeah, and she's just a baby having a baby, and trying to. And my dad was a great man, but they were also teenagers, and they were kind of like forced to wed because of religion. She was 6 months pregnant when they got married with me. There's no way they were going to have a child out of wedlock.
Right. That was
not going to happen.
Not cool.
And then they ended up having 2 more kids, and before they know it, they're 22 years old and they got 3 kids, and it's like crazy. And so that I have to, give her a lot of grace because of her life was very hard and she was very young, and I don't understand a lot of the some of those choices she made, but I remember spending most of my childhood in fear of getting that call that she was gone.
Yeah. And, is your mother still alive?
Yes, she is.
Oh, and, beautiful.
And she's had a wild year, and she's very much with us, and
she's had a wild year?
Yeah, she almost got killed this year on an ATV accident. It's wild that you brought that picture up, but she literally, she had very much a near-death experience. She spent 2 months in the ICU, and it's been a wild year for all of us, especially her.
ATV deaths happen to so many people.
Yeah,
people don't realize how popular it is.
I don't want one of them damn things anywhere around me.
I'm not saying we're getting you one this year.
No, please don't.
I'm just saying,
I'll sell it on eBay.
We are not, dude. Yeah. We can skip go with that one. That one can go on to the next. In the United States, ATV related deaths typically range from 300 to 900 annually. But yeah, I don't know why we're even talking about this, and I'm sorry, but I'm glad to know that she's doing well. Yeah. When you guys were young, what kind of stuff was she struggling with stuff or?
Yeah, she had a lot of struggles, and
at young age is so tough. Can you imagine that? When your mother, can you imagine? Like when I was 22, I was just concerned if I had enough, time in my day to jerk off without somebody bothering me. And here there were people feeding children.
Yeah, she had no business having children. Dude. And but yeah, they had these, they very much had these children, and she was going through some really tough stuff. And like my dad got custody of us, which was kind of
rare at the
time. But I remember hearing that song, and I was able to put her in that song.
Yanni's daddy.
And it was like, and it didn't make no sense that. Why is my mom in this song? She shouldn't be. It doesn't follow the storyline.
Oh, but your head put her in there.
But my head put her in there, and I was able to copy and paste all of my emotions into that song. And 3.5 minutes later, I was a wreck.
Wow.
Not because of the song, but because of my mom being in the song.
Right.
And I was like, okay, that's, to me, that's what the wizardry of songwriting is. Like Craig Martin and Larry Johnson wrote that song not knowing that some Southern Indiana boy was going to be like, be balling on a school bus with around a bunch of FFA kids wasn't a good look. And and so I mean, that's really what I would say that was the moment that I really got bitten by, or like song bit, so to speak, because I realized that music was more than just beats and sounds and making words rhyme. It was literally taking like taking someone's life and making it part of a piece of art. And that's,
wow.
And that's really what a great song does. And I think the real great songs out there, and me as a songwriter, the only thing I've tried to pay forward was that. So when you said that, like you're able to put yourself in those songs. That's really all I've ever hoped to achieve. Not so much to put myself in those songs. I want to put other people in those songs and let them be the star of it, not me.
Got it.
And I feel like that's, if it's anything, that's how people respond to the music. It's about them. It has nothing to do with me up there. I'm just a vessel.
Yeah. No, I think there's a lot of guys that are trying to feel. I think especially for a lot of young men, it's been like, there's a lot of feeling and processing that we've missed somehow, or we haven't found a way to do it. I think it's the same thing that I noticed with some of Red Clay Stray's music, and it's different. You guys' stuff is totally different. But if you go to their show, they're great. Their show, it's a lot of men, probably like kind of adult men who are trying to find ways to process stuff. Yeah. That's what I believe anyway. And it's interesting to see that. It's interesting to see like, where do we go to process stuff and how do we do it? And I think your music does a lot of that for people. Yeah, and that's why I was saying that. Yeah, it would be hard for you to write for somebody, which makes it a little bit tougher to have a career in some ways, because you don't have like, you're you, and you can write some songs but man, your stuff is so personal, it feels like, to your brain and perspective and attitude, that it'd be hard for a regular foot to fit into it,
Yeah, that was the challenge. Like there's this sounds so much like you. That was
right.
And but at the same time,
it hurts at the time because you're like, well, fuck, I'm just trying to do this. Yeah. But then in the end, it's like, oh, well, I'm the instrument.
Yeah.
And that just takes, and then that's a gift that you are, because if you'd have found this other avenue that was for songwriting, and I know you've had some success in it, but if you found this other avenue that was hugely successful, then you may not have continued to nurture, or the energy may not have been on the seed that was you. The sunlight might have not focused on you to keep that growing.
Honestly, if my dad was still alive, none of this would have happened. Really, if I'd probably be just writing songs, trying to get cuts, and probably still failing at it. And
your dad would be selling merch for you. It'd be nice, though.
Yeah, he would. He would still be there with his giant phone, probably recording every bit of it, proud as hell.
Man, I was just thinking about my dad. So my dad was very old when I was born, and so I remember like I was ashamed of my dad. So I had a lot of shame about him. But I grew up in a lot of fear too in our household. Like my sister was real sick, and so I was always scared that she was going to pass away. And then my dad was old, so he was in his 70s when I got to know him, and so I was always afraid he was going to pass away. So it was like this constant thing of like, it just felt like somebody was just going to dang die,
Yeah.
So it made everything kind of dour.
Yeah.
I think, or I don't know, it made it like the perspective was dim. That's what it was. And my brother would mess with me. He'd come in the room and he'd be like, dude, Dad's dead. And I'm like, what? He'd be like, go in there, dude. Go in there right now. And my dad would fall asleep all the time because he was like 76 or 77. And those people like to sleep a decent amount during the day. And I don't know if he'd be asleep or he'd just be laying there with his eyes closed. You know what I'm saying? A lot of old people are like, I'm awake, I'm at work. They're fucking, I'm married, they're not forgetting the things that are important, But I would go up and I would have to go and he would be alive. And I would be like, fuck you, you're full of shit. So then it got to this weird part where my brother would come in the room and he'd be like, dude, Dad's dead. And I'm like, dude, he better be dead when I go in there. or I'm going to beat your ass. So it became, and it flipped this whole perspective of like what was normal in the world. So my friends would be like, dude, what do you mean he better be dead? Are you going to fight your brother? Like, like, no, he does this all the time, dude. He's not freaking dead.
You were like, I don't know, you were combating the dark arts with other dark arts.
Yeah,
like,
or my mom would be like, go spend time with your dad because he's probably going to die soon. He'd be like, all right, and shit like that. But she was just doing this to get us out of the room so she could tidy up or something, some trick. Wow. But it was just weird shit, And
were you
and it was true too. He probably was going to die soon. So I was like, well, get in there and spend some time with him or draw a picture of him. We probably have like 70 pictures of him we drew with crayons. But if she'd like, go in there and draw a picture of him, you're going to want it, and it's horrible pictures, And sometimes we'd draw him like as a black guy, just like, just like because it would seem more exciting or whatever. But
were you quiet as a kid?
No, I don't think that I was. I think I was like kind of curious.
Yeah.
And I like to make excitement somehow. Like I like to create ambiance for things. But I think I was probably, I don't know, my mom says she didn't tend to me that much because it seemed like I was doing fine.
Yeah.
So she didn't think I needed like a lot of attention because she felt like I was doing okay, Because we've had like some conversations about that stuff. But yeah, I think that was a big regret I had was that I had like a lot of shame about my dad's age. And so I didn't even embrace him really that much, because I was ashamed of it.
Wow.
But it's just, life's just harrowing like that.
You and I had like polar opposite dads. My dad was like a baby and I was like I guess I was kind of, I wouldn't say they were just kind of totally different perspectives to think about. Like my dad was like a child, like honestly like a big brother.
Really?
In a lot of ways because he was only 18 years older than me.
Oh yeah, that's pretty normal.
I mean, I was like, there's actually siblings out there that are like 15 years older than their siblings,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that had to be tough. I find that people that are, that's why I asked, people that are I know I spent my whole childhood in a state of fear of loss, fear of losing someone
really
unlosable at that time. Like
what would make that happen? It is such a, because your mom being gone?
My mom. Yeah. I was like losing her was not like something I was willing to bear, but it seemed like it was
inevitable
and like something that was like just around the corner too. So like it made me like retreat as a kid. It made me like really quiet and observe everything.
You got to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah. And keep my mouth shut because like I didn't want to say something or,
that could cost me her.
Yeah. It could cost me her or, I didn't want to draw attention to it or speak anything into existence about it. And I didn't want anybody to know about it either. So it was like my own little thing. And my dad didn't know about a lot of what she was going through with her other husbands. Like that was something that I knew about. Yeah. And that was a tough secret to carry. Because, it was, he wouldn't have wanted me around that. And God knows what he would have done to those dudes. And he probably would have killed them or something. And so I was always worried. I was always trying to protect my dad from himself. And I was trying to protect my mom from herself. It made me grow up real quick. And I bet your dad's situation probably made you grow up quicker.
What makes you aware? That's the thing. Yeah. The worst thing to be as a young kid in some ways is aware. It's just so aware because then you're living on this different timeline. Yeah, you're living on this other thing.
It's good to be oblivious in those years, and really ignorant to like the pain and the magnitude of that is the weight of loss. As a kid, like we insulate and protect children from that.
Yes,
like, we don't even bring them to funerals because we don't want them to see the. But that's something my dad, I got to say, I could give him a lot of credit because I've seen people die from a young age, from grandparents to family members. Like he would bring me to funerals, probably because he couldn't find a babysitter. Like what's he going to do? Like get a babysitter or have us wait in a car? He's like, no, you're going to come and look at this dead body. You're going to see this dead person because one day it could be me. And
my dad would drop us off at funerals in our town if there was in order to get time away from. He dropped me off at 2 funerals in our town that I didn't know anybody at. And he would take us to leave us at Burger King for 8 hours like they were a babysitter. He had no, I'm like, and every time we'd be like, Dad, they do not want us there anymore. Like we ate like 11 French toast sticks that people gave us.
Yeah.
And they don't even have a play place. He enjoyed the play place. And he'd be like, it's the wrong one. Burger King doesn't have it, dude.
They don't have it everywhere.
No. So this lady named Miss Wanda, she was always like the lady that would take care of us in there. And we would just drink those syrups when people left them in there. But we'd be at the fucking Burger King for like 8 hours talking to people, me and my sisters, and it would just be bizarre. But you'd end up in bizarre shit like that, you know? My dad he'd be like, drive me over to the post office because I was kind of tall when I was 10 or 11, maybe 12. So I'd drive him over there, but I didn't have a driver's license or anything. And there'd be no parking spots. He'd be like, well, just do a couple laps around the block while I'm in here. And I'd be like, and there was this huge Cutlass, this Delta 88. And so I was like, I can't drive this bitch. And it didn't have power steering. Dude, I would hit, and the car was so banged up. I fucking hit probably 7 cars going around that block.
Totaling cars with that
thing.
Dude,
just hitting all kinds of shit because
those things are solid
and
cars.
there was no like mirrors or there was
driving
no
the house around.
There was no mirrors for sure after I hit the street, but there was no cameras. Nobody knew what had happened, you know. And I would just be in there, and if Dad had to wait to buy stamps, I'd be out there. I'd fucking hit 50 cars, dude. But dude, it was just you would be in crazy scenarios. Odd environments put you in crazy scenarios that other people couldn't fathom, and then it would just kind of get your brain to like a different place.
Yeah.
So your brain was kind of operating in some wild territory. One of the things you said, I wonder how many kids are quiet because they're worried if they just talk, if they affect the world in some way, that it could alter, that they could. You know, because when you're a child, things are very balanced in your head. Like I remember I would swallow on both sides of my mouth. I would be careful how I stepped. If I counted 1, I had to count 1 on the other side of my brain. I always had like these 2 sides inside of me. And like 1 over here, 1 over here. Like these little things I had to do, right? And
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Ticks.
Little ticks. And it was because I had to keep things even. Everything had to be even. And so I wonder how many times kids operate in this space where it's like, I just can't affect anything too much because things, as far as I recognize them, are already like kind of on a uncertain fulcrum, on a one-footed fulcrum, and it's going to get weird, you know?
No, I think you just hit the nail on the head right there.
It's
at
interesting.
Least with me.
Yeah.
I think that was, I think you articulated it far better than I did or could have.
Being a kid,
you're afraid to affect the world because you might change it for the worse. So like, I'm going to stay Switzerland and keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
And I did that for most of my childhood. And then.
But then a lot of the world happens inside of you then.
Yeah.
If it's not happening inside of you, a lot of the conversations and stuff, they happen inside of you, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And I think it can be painful and scary, but also kind of fascinating.
It allows you to be by yourself a lot. And it teaches you and trains you to be alone and thrive in loneliness. And if there's anything, or like with boxing, songwriting, and I'm assuming comedy, there's a lot of loneliness to it. You got to be inside your own head a lot in order to do it properly. Like, it's not like, you just go up and play a baseball game and hit a homer, and then, it's this thing you got to stay in all the time.
Yeah.
It's not event based. It's just kind of this state of mentality. And
that's a good point, especially with boxing, because boxing, most of it is the training.
Yeah.
The fights are very rare.
Yeah, the fights are rare and short compared to the training.
So your father was a boxer. How did he get into it? Do you know how?
Yeah. Well, he started probably a year before I was born. He saw Muhammad Ali fight. Muhammad Ali was like his hero. He's from Louisville, Kentucky, so almost like a local dude too. My dad just idolized him. He just watched all his fights, loved everything about him in and out of the ring. I think, he was just really inspired by Ali's story, and he literally just wanted to start boxing. And I think the movie Rocky probably just came out around that time too. I bet that probably had something to do with it.
A lot of whites got caught up in that.
Yep. And but I think with the combination of Muhammad Ali and Rocky Balboa, Yeah, my dad said, "Hey, I want to put on some gloves," and before he knew it, he was fighting. And he started on his own, just like literally fighting anybody, like signing up for tough man competitions, and then he ended up finding this great gym up in Indianapolis and fighting under this coach named Champ Chaney. That was his name. And
Champ Chaney, bring him up. Let's get a gander at him.
Yeah,
I'd like to see this man today.
I can still smell the cigar smoke. That's him, dude.
There you go, Champ.
Oh, dude, I haven't seen him in forever.
Let him have it, Champ.
That second picture right there, that's exactly how I remember. He'd have that same sweater on every time I'd see him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Police Athletic League, that was the POW clubs we'd fight at. Like, we would open up for our dad's fights. Like, when he got into, like, Champ's tutelage, that's when he started, like, really doing well.
Okay.
Because he didn't have any really good training. And very much like how Apollo trained Rocky, Champ trained my dad.
Got it.
He like reformatted his whole style. He taught him footwork. He taught him head movement. He taught him all the things that he lacked fundamentally. Because my dad was just a tough guy with a mean punch and a heart of a lion.
Oh, yeah.
And he could just train.
Loved to train.
He loved to train. He loved to work. And Champ loved that about him, his work ethic. He'd show up to Indianapolis, he'd spar anybody. I remember him getting up in the morning and literally having to peel his eyes open to see us because of just sparring, not from a fight, just sparring those dudes in Champ's gym.
Dude, go ahead.
And I was just going to say, I mean, he had a lot of guys that didn't care for him, and I remember, him talking about that. Like, he really had to fight for his spot at that gym.
Your dad did?
He did. And
what reasons would they have not to care about him or care for him?
I think, I think Champ maybe favored him because he really put in a lot of work.
Got it.
And I think Champ saw what he was going through. He was bringing his kids to the gym and he was very much out of sorts there culturally. And he was fighting an uphill battle and the wind was in his face and he just still kept going forward. And I feel like, that's what Champ saw in him. And so when we started boxing as a kid, I mean, my first memories are the sounds of these fights. Like that right there, like I can smell that picture. Like I can smell the room. It's cigar smoke and isopropyl alcohol with menthol in it. And it's all those, and a lot of sweat and leather and the sound of like cops under the table gambling, screaming red and blue, because that's where you'd be like red and blue. They'd have like red headgear. Like this was an exhibition fight. Me and my brother were fighting each other in this one. So we didn't have an opponent, so they just have us fight each other. So that was one of the fights we opened up for my dad.
Well, they gave both y'all a trophy too, which is fucking
it's like a participation trophy because it's an exhibition fight.
But if you both get one, I could see that. Just tell them both are the winner.
There's exhibition fights and then there's competition. These are exhibitions. So in an exhibition fight, you both get a trophy.
Got it.
You're just exhibiting the sport of boxing. Not really. Nothing's going on your amateur record or anything like that. Dude. But then we ended up fighting other kids, and when they could find a boy our size to fight, we'd fight him. And so we would open up, like the first 2 or 3 fights on the card would be kid fights.
Oh, that's fun.
So I joke around, I've been an opener for a long time. And but yeah, I really have.
There's nothing funner than watching a kid smoke cigarettes or fight another kid, a little kid.
And I did both of those things.
Hell yeah. Yeah. There's something about that. I think they should have a zoo where you get to watch people do unique shit.
Yeah.
If they had a section where a couple kids are sitting there smoking, like, don't have them smoke all day because I know it's bad for them.
Yeah, it's bad for them.
But they get 2 cigarettes a day each. And it's like at a certain time they smoke and you all get to watch it.
Yeah, for like 15 minutes a day, you get to come in and watch it.
And you could stream it too. If you didn't want to go in person, you could stream it. But you're telling me some kid's smoking it on my lunch break at 12:15 p.m. today, Gary or Robert or whatever is going to smoke. And
if you find a little Gary, let me know.
Yeah.
Bubble wrap him, protect him. That's a Gare breed right there.
Oh, that's Gary, Indiana, isn't it? Gary, Indiana is a wild place, I've heard.
Oh yeah.
But I would watch a kid. I would love to watch a kid smoke. Yeah. So, and that's maybe that sounds very Russian. I mean, I don't know. I've been online a lot.
No, I think smoking's a very American thing too.
But I just love, like, I don't know. I love nostalgia too. That's something that I love, dude. I remember the first, going to funeral. Like I love the first of everything.
Yeah.
Because after the first time of everything lost a lot of luster for me in life, I think a lot of times. And I don't know why that is. And I don't mean it like super negatively, like I'm not down in the dumps or anything.
Yeah.
But it's like there's something fascinating about the first time of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, nostalgia is it's a really effective tool as far as, making people go back to memories. Like whether it's
you get
smell.
attached then.
Yeah.
When you get in your own memory, you're attached.
Yeah.
It's like, there's just something that attaches you there.
Yeah, and you can use senses to as an appendage to nostalgia, like a sense of smell, a sense of sight or sound, and touch, all that. And I think if you kind of use those senses and appendage them to a certain type of nostalgia, you can unlock a memory within any human.
Yeah.
Like all humans. It doesn't have to be your memory. You suddenly have a key to so many memories, and so many minds. And you open up these memories that people have had vaulted for years. And when they come out, it's almost like seeing that toy that you got for Christmas when you were 7 years old that you were so excited about. But seeing it again for the first time when you're in your 30s or 40, and you relive that excitement for at least a second, like, oh man, I remember that feeling.
Yes.
I haven't seen that in 30 years. And when you can unleash that memory, it's such a beautiful thing. You see it on people's eyes. You see them traveling through time, and it's
like the first time you hear a song kind of that really touches you, Like,
it's a human thing.
Why I got a new complaint.
Yeah.
Who sang that song,
Nirvana, it's Heart-Shaped Box.
God, that song was fucking good.
No, it's incredible. Yeah, I
remember
hear that
staying
song.
home from school to listen to that song, dude.
And watch the video. I remember watching the video and just being
remember
like, I remember like Kurt rocking back and forth in that chair. Just everything about it, like that whole record in utero was just like life-changing for me.
That was huge.
Scentless Apprentice. Oh my God. Yeah, this is the video.
Oh, I do remember some of this now, dude. I've been locked inside your heart-shaped ball. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
When Soundgarden came up, bro.
Soundgarden changed my life.
Stone Temple Pilot, bro.
I actually learned how to play guitar from Soundgarden.
Really?
People, if they're like, if I could like give anybody like, who taught you how to play guitar? It literally, like if I could credit anybody, it would be the band Soundgarden. Literally,
And I feel, is that Soundgarden? When
that's Stone Temple Pilots.
They were also good.
Oh,
what was
so
Soundgarden?
good.
Soundgarden, what's a Soundgarden song?
There's so many, like, as far as hits, you got, like, Black Hole Sun, Fell on Black Days, like, Blow Up the Outside World, one of my favorites.
The Outside.
Rusty
Dude,
Cage,
God,
Pretty News, The Day I Tried to Live. The 4th of July is heavy as hell. I love 4th of July. Limo Wreck, oh, that slaps. Super heavy. Well, that's 4th of July.
Blow up the outside. Dude,
one of the greatest rock and roll vocal performances ever is Blow Up the Outside World. Like, listen to that Chris Cornell vocal and just talk to me after.
Wow.
It is like a clinic of
is it pretty
rock
good?
and roll. Oh
Put these
my
on.
God.
Let's play it real quick. We got to get. You're going to play a couple songs for us today. What do you think, Steven?
Yeah, let's do it. Come on, I ain't scared.
Let's listen to this together if we can.
A lot of those high singers would lose you when they go down like that. They kind of.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, just so enveloped, like you like you wanted to be in their world. Smashing Pumpkins together. There was a lot of good.
Yeah.
And one thing I've never liked, I don't like music where you can't hear the words, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes the way they do mixes something, it loses me.
Yeah.
If I can't hear the words, that's the part that I need the most, right?
Yeah.
Because I need to feel something. Like the beat and stuff helps. It's cool for me. But for me, I've always been like, what are the words telling us,
Yeah, you want to know the story.
Yes, I want to feel something from it.
Yeah.
No,
I'm with you. I'm a word nerd, so I'm assuming you are too.
Oh, I love to write. That was like my favorite thing. I think like one of my goals maybe the next couple of years would be to like finally get a book done. Like I've written a lot of stuff, and I've written probably half of maybe 2 books, but I would like to finally get it done. But once video became so popular, it was just like And once podcasting became busier, it was hard to focus on that. Is there anything good in the news right now that we want to check out? Dude, will you look up an article, Trevin? I saw something about Facebook and did research, and then they canceled it after it started to find beliefs that they didn't want. We were talking about that. We were talking about a few minutes ago about research.
Yeah.
What kind of
user bias?
Oh, about user bias.
On boxing, have you done any boxing? Because
No, I've never done.
I've
go to a lot of MMA. I go to a lot of MMA stuff. I love it. You know what? I wouldn't mind getting into something more. The past year has been tough for me. I didn't invest in a lot. Like the past couple years with touring, I kind of should have invested more of like having a trainer with me on the road or things like that. I kind of took some of that for granted. And I think in the future that I'll do it differently. But this year I'd like to get more into focusing more on my health and stuff like that. I've really burned myself out pretty good. But I used to take MMA classes, and I have a feeling that I'll get back into it. I've also had traveled. I was moving a lot too, but now I'm going to be here more. And so I need to put some roots more in some places like that. So it's like I'll be able to have more of a system, like a pattern. Yeah. And so it's been tough for me to have that.
It's so hard to find that. I mean, I box a lot here in town, or a lot. When I'm in town, I try to as much as I can, but it's helped me so much. Just try to, even if it's 2 days a week. I only brought it up. I went to the UFC Performance Institute in Las Vegas.
Oh, that's what I
heard.
Last
week. And because we played in Vegas last week, and they invited me in. It was so
were you
cool.
at the fights? No,
it was after the fights. But I saw Sean Strickland there. It was crazy.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
dude, he's a really amazing guy. He's an interesting guy.
Incredible.
He's a deep soul.
He is a deep soul, and just such a nice guy. Everybody there was so nice.
They're so great. Did you get to work out there or train there at all?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I did. I trained with Brandon Jenkins there. And
you did?
Yeah.
Dude, bring up Brandon Jenkins. I went to...
Forrest Griffin basically gave me the tour, and like he met me there, and I was like, holy hell. There he is.
Nice, dude.
Yep. He put some work on me, and
that's awesome.
I was really out of shape, but it was cool. I got to learn some new things, like because I only train with boxing guys, and he's an MMA guy, so it was just there was a lot of different angles, a lot of new things I had to learn and take it kind of slow and kind of start from scratch. It was humbling. And I was like 4 weeks on the road, and 4 weeks having not trained is too much time off to like go back. I felt like a total piece of crap.
Yeah.
Like I looked real bad, and I felt like I looked real bad.
That's the tough thing as you get older too. It's like, you got to catch me. Give me a couple days to prepare for anything. I can do it. Yeah. But do not catch me. If I've had 4 or 5 Diet Cokes and you want me to box or whatever, bitch, I'm staying in the car. You know what I'm saying? Like,
way too much aspartame.
Yeah, that's what it is, dude. It's like I look like a damn teddy bear or something, Because also my body style, my God-given body style is I'm built kind of like a gingerbread cookie a little bit, Like I'm sturdy. Bring up a good G bread on me, Daddy. It's seasonal anyway.
I bet you can throw.
You know what? I can survive, dude. I'll do okay. Give me a couple weeks of MMA. That's how I'm built right there.
Yeah.
Now sturdy, I got a sturdy base on me.
Yeah. Do your legs look like that?
Well, I think
like bow-legged like that.
No, this one had a bad. This one might have been in a bad oven, but
yeah.
But I think I got a little bit more frosting on me than that one. But yes. Anyway, maybe the one they don't really make a perfect cookie, dude. But we should. Do you know what would be interesting? What if we made cookies of like people that have been on this show, and we sold it was like a fun, like we could do part of it as like a fundraiser or something for moms or something.
That's good. We eat each other's cookies,
and you just get a batch of them or something. Yeah, you can get a batch of the Stephen Wilsons.
Like they can bite my head off. I love that.
Yeah, if you're angry at your husband, you just get you a batch of them Stephen Wilsons and chew his head off. Yeah. So that's pretty crazy. So Brandon Jenkins met you out there. Yeah, and Forrest Griffin met you out there.
Yeah, and they gave me a tour of the whole facility, and then we trained. Huh? Oh man, it was like I was a kid at a candy shop.
Did they take you through like not just the gym part, but also the UFC building and stuff?
Yeah, I got to go into like the lunchroom and everything.
Yeah, dude, it's nice.
Yeah, I was like, this is so nice, and like this is like the most dangerous lunchroom you'll ever walk into. Like seriously, like everybody was so nice and so friendly, but it was like, you'll never walk into a cafeteria that could hurt you so bad.
Yeah. Oh, even the line cooks will have like cauliflower. He's like, "You want cauliflower?" And you're like,
I'm good on that.
where are you
How about
getting
the
it
broccoli?
from, dude? Yeah, dude. Even like, I think like the head chef in there last week was like Brandon Roy Val or something. Like, they got some gangsters in here.
Yeah.
I'm being careful what I asked for in here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious, dude. Meta buried casual evidence of social media harm. U.S. court filings allege. Oh, yeah, this was it. This was about information about something. This Meta shut down internal research into the mental health effects of Facebook after finding causal evidence that its products harmed users' mental health, according to unredacted filings in a lawsuit by U.S. school districts against Meta and other social media platforms. So would that be information bias?
Internal research into mental health.
In a 2020 research project codenamed Project Mercury, scientists worked with survey firm Nielsen to gauge the effects of deactivating Facebook. According to meta documents obtained via discovery, to the company's disappointment, people who stopped using Facebook for a week reported lower feelings of depression, anxiety, loneliness, and social comparison.
Yeah.
Rather than publishing those findings or pursuing additional research, the filing states Meta called off further work and internally declared that the negative study findings were tainted by the existing media narrative around the company. Privately, however, a staffer insisted the conclusions of the research were valid according to the filing. Is that user bias?
I'd say it definitely could be user bias, but I would actually have to see the research. I mean, there's so many other variables. Like, you want to know how many like participants were involved. Like, what's your statistical meaning like how many participants were there. Therefore, your bell curve is going to be a lot more, I guess, a lot more valid. You're going to have more statistical significance the higher number of participants are involved in the research. For all we know, there's 20 people that they did research on Facebook.
Right.
But if they said like, no, we did research on 200,000 people, okay, now you got statistical validity. But I need to see this research paper, and because one person's saying that there's user bias, and then there's another person saying, no, the results are actually scientifically valid. So that person may actually have bias because they're like emotionally attached to all the research they did. Who knows?
I see what you're saying.
So this could be like a user bias on top of user bias. A user bias sandwich.
Yeah. Oh,
bias the sandwich, user bias.
It's the new Bond me, dude. Bring it back up. I want to see a little bit more information on it. Let me see if it tells us. Because it is interesting to think, though, that I noticed after only a week, people were getting better. This is allegedly. The full record will show that for over a decade, we have listened to parents' research issues that matter most and made real changes to protect teens. Go further, see. Okay, the allegation of Meta burying evidence on social media harms is just one of the many in late Friday filing by Motley Rice, a law firm suing Meta, Google, TikTok, and Snapchat on behalf of school districts around the country. Wonder if we get in touch with them. That sounds like kind of an interesting lawsuit, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Just to see like what are they learning and what information have they learned. Broadly, the plaintiffs argue the companies have intentionally hidden the internally recognized risks of their products from users, parents, and teachers.
I want to see the research, and I want to see if they conducted it or if it was conducted by a second party or third party. That's going to be a huge part of it. And I mean, Australia just recently did a social media ban.
I saw that.
Kids under ages 16, I believe.
Why is the Australian government banning social media for under 16s? The government says it will reduce the negative impact of social media's design features that encourage young people to spend more time on screens. 10 platforms are currently included in the ban: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Threads, TikTok, X, YouTube, Reddit, and streaming platforms like Kick and Twitch. A study it commissioned earlier in 2025 found that 96% of children aged 10 to 15 use social media, and that 7 out of 10 of them have been exposed to harmful content. This includes misogynistic and violent material, as well as content promoting eating disorders and suicide. 1 in 7 also reported experiencing grooming type behavior from adults or other children, and more than half said they've been the victim of cyberbullying. Wow. I think, I'm not even a child, and all that's happened to me on there.
Yeah.
I'm a damn adult, and some of that shit hurts.
Yeah.
Will it say how will it work or when they're imposing it? I just want to get that information out in this. Dude, go back up. It takes Meta about an hour and 52 minutes to make $50 million in revenue. That's Australian revenue. That's crazy.
Wow.
Australia's social media ban for children under 16 officially started on December 10th. So they're in it.
We're in it.
If you're an Australian kid, shit, I don't know if this is legal to have kids call. But call and tell me honestly, what do you think? Do you think it's good? Are you pissed about it? What are the feelings right now?
Yeah.
Hit me with a couple, hit the hotline, 985-664-9503, and just let it drop. And don't be some fake weirdo pretending with an Australian accent.
Yeah.
Who's obviously a pervert or whatever. We want real kids to call in, okay?
Yeah. No, I mean, Australia, when it comes to science and research, they are very thorough. I went to school there for a year.
You did?
I did my junior year, and they have I went there for their science programs. Their research programs are some of the best in the world. So if they've actually done proper research to back this up, I believe that it's probably valid science.
And was that in Sydney?
It was in Brisbane.
Oh yeah.
Good old Brizzy. And yeah.
Dude, the Brisbane Lions, dude.
Yeah. Yeah,
my
watch
AFL
them
squad.
play. No way.
Yeah.
I love the Lions.
Dude, the Brisbane Lions, bring them up.
And the Wallabies.
Oh yeah, the Brizzy Lions, dude. Fucking legends, dude. Bring up Mitch. There he is, boys. Class.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, I love the Brisbane Lions, dude. I went over there one night with Mitch, had a good time. I love Australia, brother.
Yeah,
it's
same.
great. And
yeah, I miss it. I'm going to go back hopefully next year.
Did you find, are you married?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a Stephen Wilson III?
No, there isn't. No.
There isn't?
No, I don't have any biological children. I have a stepson named Henry.
Okay.
That I've been helping raise since he was about 4 years old. And
nice.
He's my boy, and yeah,
pretty cool kid.
Incredibly cool kid. He's such a great kid. I'm very, very blessed.
What do you admire about him?
He's so different from me in the best ways. He's very very intelligent and very collected and calm, and very I would say he's more ordered than I am. In a lot of ways, he's got I think this incredible constitution about him, and he's got a very calm constitution, which is not what I grew up around. Like I grew up around a lot of noise and a lot of chaos and a lot of energy, and he's like a rock in a raging river that will not move. You know, and I love that about him, and he's a very strong and smart young man, very much into Muay Thai kickboxing, and we started in boxing, and yeah, he's my dude. And my dad was a stepfather, not just a father. He remarried after my mother, and a couple times he didn't have the best luck with the ladies, but a couple of his wives had stepchildren, and he really taught me how to be a good stepfather. I got to say, well, not by teaching me, but just by example. Like his faith was led by his works, not his words. You know?
What's one of the toughest things about being a stepfather, kind of that people don't really see, or that they may see, and you may have your own, that you may have some specific thoughts about?
Well, I mean, I was not just I'm not just a stepfather. I was a stepchild. So I remember the perspective as a stepchild. So I go into my step-parenthood as a stepchild.
Ooh, okay.
So I have something that a lot of step-parents don't have. I have like a really unique perspective of what it was like to grow up with step-parents.
R&D, you've done the R&D.
Yeah, I've done the R&D. I've had the experience. I've had multiple step-parents. I didn't just have one set.
You have a trial sample.
I had a lot of variability.
Variables, yeah. Okay, there we go. I love
so
this.
I got some good data there. And one thing I just remember, and this was never a conversation, my dad just loved his stepchildren like us. There was never I feel like a lot of step-parents, if they have biological children and stepchildren, they will be like, well, I love you just like I love him. And they'll say that. He never said that I can remember. He just did. That was what that's the lesson that I learned, is that it has nothing to do with words. It has everything to do with your actions. And so I've really just tried to be the best stepfather I can, not talk about being a stepfather.
Got it.
Talk about anything. Just
Makes sense.
Just be. And
yeah, I think it's tough. It's like, it's sometimes easier for me to love a stranger than it is like somebody close to me, I feel like, in a weird way.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's, familiarity breeds contempt. That's an old saying. And, the more familiar you become with somebody, the more contemptuous you can become.
Oh, yes, domestic
naturally.
disputes.
Yeah. So, like, a stranger is without contempt because there's no familiarity there. And, that's, I guess, the kind of the battle of love, because the more you love somebody, the more familiar you become with them. And like, I guess that is,
I know.
like, how do you balance contempt and love? Because contempt is going to kind of creep its way in, or somehow.
Resentment, something will get in there.
Yeah, something negative will come in there. The more and more you love somebody. And maybe that's just, the darkness balancing out the light. But, I think just acknowledging it and knowing that it's there is really the big part of it. Because, like, the fear or the panic behind it is the lack of understanding behind it. Really, fear is most of the time just a lack of understanding.
And fear, sometimes they're standing there and you don't, it's like if you really looked at it for a bit, but sometimes I'll just feel a fear and react. I'll do that for decades without really looking at, well, what's going on here?
Yeah.
What's really got me here? What am I, And sometimes just you could figure it out and you're free of it.
Yeah.
You can at least see when it's standing there.
Yeah.
But I'll let a damn thing Michael Myers me out there forever, and I won't even go out there and realize, oh, this is just a damn cardboard cutout of some old bullshit.
Yeah.
This isn't even nothing's even in this costume anymore.
Yeah.
And I've still been acting this way because part of me, I get something out of pretending that that's still real too.
Yeah.
I get an excuse, I get to keep living my life a certain way when I pretend that old boogeyman is still new, Not saying that happens a lot, but I'm just saying that hasn't not been a part of my story at times probably. And sometimes I didn't realize it.
It's wild what the mind can do. In those, like, my dad took me deer hunting, and I think that was the best thing he could have done for me. It's just the boxing, you deal with a lot of fear in boxing because you don't understand certain things. But I remember, like, when you go deer hunting, you go out, especially if you morning hunt, you go out about an hour before sunrise into a pitch black woods, and you'll walk a quarter mile into a pitch black woods. And my dad would post me up against a tree with a shotgun in my hand, not even a tree stand or anything.
Damn.
Post me up against a tree, and then he would go off about 500 yards the other way because he'd have to be far away because I could shoot him or he could shoot me. Like, you can't be in range of each other's shot because we're shooting slugs. And but I just remember, like, okay, getting out there an hour before sunrise, it would be pitch black, and he would walk me out to this tree, and you couldn't see nothing. And, like, I remember thinking, like, he would walk out here by himself all the time, and I was like, man, that's crazy. And he would sit me up against a tree in the pitch black, and it would just be pitch black. And then he would go off into his tree, and I would be there for at least 45 minutes in the darkest woods you can imagine, hearing everything crick and crackle and move around, shuffle through leaves. Is that a wild boar? Is that is that a hooker? Is that a cougar?
You'd hope it was a hooker, but it never was, dude. It was like a boar,
or just a squirrel,
or a raccoon, like it had gotten shoes somewhere, like a
rabid raccoon. But no, I just remember then the sun would slowly start to come up, and the light, you would start to understand the woods that you didn't have understanding of like 45 minutes ago. And you'd start to see it. And then it was like, okay, it become literally as the more and more light crept into the woods, the more understanding you got of the woods and what it looked like, what it was made of, what kind of trees, what kind of animals that were making all these sounds. And by the time the sun was up, there was nothing in that woods that was scaring you anymore. So it was really, your fear was what you didn't understand and what you couldn't see. The woods did not change in the presence of light, or the lack thereof. It was the exact same woods that it was 45 minutes ago. Because the squirrels don't care about dark and light. They live. They don't.
They're always up to some bullshit or whatever.
Yeah.
Some gay shit.
They ain't afraid of the dark.
Yeah. They ain't afraid of other men either, apparently. Some of these young bucks, I've seen a lot of squirrels.
Gerbils, gosh.
Oh, You catch me a little
craziest.
bit of
Richard
slanging
Gere.
Goebbels, baby. Oh, those are the old days, dude. Remember how there was crazy rumors when you
Yeah,
were
I
a
know.
kid?
We were just talking about that.
Like
the other
Richard
day.
Gere's gay. He used to put squirrels up his butt or whatever. And people are like, what? But somehow that made it around
I know.
society.
No, I know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that made it to my tiny little small town in
Yeah, for
southern
sure.
Indiana.
Dude, we were just like, what are we talking about?
I guess maybe that is the downside of social media is that those old bullshit rumors don't come up anymore because someone would
so
eventually
good.
they would shoot them down immediately. It'd be all over TikTok in a day, and then someone would be like, someone would be like, this is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
And then be like,
You used to be able to lie to people.
yeah, my dad's a skydiver.
Yeah.
And be like,
oh, he'll be home any minute. You fucking lie to people all the time. You'd be like, I'm a lawyer. They'd be like, you're in 7th grade. What are you talking about? You're like, yeah, whatever.
Doogie
The
Howser.
defense rests.
Doogie
yeah.
Howser, you heard of it?
Doogie Howser was good, huh?
Yeah,
That
like,
show.
you could become a doctor at like age 12.
Yeah.
Like, man, the world was wild. They just did whatever they want to in the 90s. Richard Gere, Gerbils, children doctors, Doogie Howser.
To be young, huh?
Yeah, Saved by the Bell.
Oh, I was at the UFC fights the other day, and I saw Mario Lopez.
Oh wow, how's he
Crazy
doing?
every time I see him. He looks younger than when he was working on. Like,
He's got like his mullet back.
like,
He's just
100%.
walking through.
Like, what grade are you? He was like in 7th, 8th grade now.
Still wearing like those leotards and stuff.
The
Like,
unitards.
yeah, the unitard.
Yeah, bro, he looks even better than that now. I don't even know what happened.
He looks
He looked-
incredible.
Yeah, he was like, he's every ethnicity too.
Looks like he's still captain of the wrestling team.
Oh, dude. Oh, God, yeah. Oh, geez. Sorry. But yeah, guy looks healthy. What I'm saying is this, whatever, dude. I like women. But what I'm telling you is, will you have kids of your own, you think?
I don't know. I'm pretty good. I think,
Might be
we've
fun.
talked about it. We've also talked about adopting kids, but
Ooh.
I've, I don't know. I got a lot going
We have
on right
Henry.
now. I got Henry. I've raised. I know what it's like to raise a child. I know what it's like to love a child. I know what it's like for a child to love me. I'm not missing anything.
Got
it. But you never know. You never know. That we could have a child. But
And you
right
have
now,
nieces
my
and nephews?
life is very, very busy, and I think I have other things that I'm supposed to be doing right now, rather than raising a baby at this particular moment in my life. And I have a lot of work to do right now, and maybe a child will be in the future.
That's fair.
But you asked about nieces and nephews. Yes, I do. I have all my siblings have children, and I'm wild Uncle Steven that goes around the world singing his songs. They're a little bit, I'm sure they're like, what the hell is this dude? Because all my family are still in my hometown. They work on cars, and it's very much a small town life. And then my weird ass does what he does, but they love
cool.
it though.
Oh, I
too.
bet they're so proud of you. It's cool.
Oh yeah, they I don't think they know what to think about any of it because they've seen me kind of live multiple lives in front of them. That's been one wild thing to see, because my siblings had their children very young, just like my parents did, and so a lot of my nieces and nephews are older now, so that they remember me when I was a scientist, and that's all I was doing. And then they remember when I quit my science job and I was waiting tables and bartending and just trying to get a publishing deal. And then they remember the guy that got a publishing deal and was writing songs for other people, and my dad recording them on the big phone and all that. And now there's this chapter. So they've kind of got to see their uncle go through multiple identities. So if anything, I hope that it's been, helpful for them to see that you're not stuck in any particular life. Like, you can live multiple lives. You can do all kinds of things,
Amen, man.
And I think it's important for them to see that, life has chapters. It's not one chapter. And you're writing your own book, and you can make the chapters as long as you want, but there are only so many pages. And
Amen.
Amen, indeed.
Well, thank you for helping us think about stuff, man, and for giving us some of your music over the years, dude. I'd love to get together and we could talk again sometime. I feel like there's other avenues of things we could talk about.
Yeah.
And sometimes I realize it's better, to just get together and talk again sometime.
Yeah.
So that way we could go down different roads and think about other stuff. I think today it's been nice to just talk about familiar relationships and how some things can influence you, and what it's like living like your father's dream out. Yep. We never talked about the theory of evolution. Well, we can get to that next time, maybe.
Yeah, we can. I'll put a whole presentation for you together.
Yeah. Well, I'll do a little more R&D while you're gone. I think I might hit a petting zoo or something while you're gone and see if I can get a little bit more research done, dude.
Well, I got to say, I probably owe you money because I feel like I could have paid a therapist a lot of money. I've never had therapy in my life, but
really?
I probably do need it. Haven't. But you said something that was so insane earlier about the quiet part, about do you think... you were quiet because you didn't want to affect the world around you. Yeah. I think, like I said, that really rocked my world, so to speak. I'll be thinking about that for a long time. There's certain things that we as songwriters say to sometimes to somebody, and it kind of flips a switch, or it makes them think about something they've thought about for a long time totally differently, and that was a paradigm shift, and I thank you for it. So if anything, I walked away with an incredible piece of knowledge that like I said, I could have never even found in therapy. And if I had, it would have cost a lot of money. So thank you. I owe you one.
You're welcome, man. No, you've paid me. You paid in advance, dude. So many times I've listened to your songs in moments where I needed something or to process something or just to remember my father, one thing about my dad, I remember he liked to whistle, and he had change in his pockets all the time. So if I hear change, you don't hear change in people's pockets anymore. That used to be a thing, a older man, he'd have change in his keys in his pockets. And now a lot of car doors are just auto entry, and it's hooked to your phone, and people don't have change anymore. But that, when I want to think about my dad, that's one of the first things I'll lay there and think about is the sound of change in somebody's pocket, kind of, But
that was his song.
Yeah. That was his song.
That was my dad always whistled. He always had a song in his head. He was always whistling a song or humming a song or singing a song. He was a song. He was either riding a song wave or just, being a song without being one. Yeah. But, there was always a sound to him. And it sounds like your dad had the same sound.
Oh, yeah. He was a joyous instrument. Yeah. But if we think of ourselves as a song, it's what song am I when I go into the room with people? And, and you can be different songs. Sometimes you're a separate song, maybe when it's just you by yourself or your music's kind of off and you're just sort of listening. But it's what kind of song do I bring into the world? And then do I just play the same song over and over again? And maybe I do that because it's therapeutic to myself, I don't know. But it's been fascinating, man. It's been fascinating to be a fan of yours. It's been fascinating to, get to share your music with other people. I've done that a bunch to connect with them.
Thank you. Theo.
Tell my brother hey man, I love this song, and then he can call me back and oh, I see why you like it, and just things like that can bring people closer together. So thank you so much, man.
Thank you. You shared my music a lot on your show, and you talked about it a lot.
I remember Miranda Lambert was in, and we both loved you. And everybody loves to talk about you behind your back, Stephen. So I figured we would do it in front of you.
Well, I'm grateful either way that anybody is talking about this music, and you've been an early champion, Theo. Thank you.
Well, I don't know if that's true, but thank you, dude. And Evan Bartels is another great guy. If you're listening to any of his music,
yeah, absolutely.
God, there's just some people that can just make me feel something, And so thank you, dude. Thank you for helping us feel. Would you honor us and play a song or two before you leave?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Let me play some Gary.
Let's do it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Wilson Jr.
Thank you, sir.
1, 2, 3, 4. Gary these days been lying in his bed, man, working on the same car going on a decade. Scribbles on junk mail, don't draw attention. Never really noticed, but now that I mention it, there ain't a lot of boys named Gary these days, born with a cigarette glued to their face, fixing about anything a hammer can handle, saving all the money cause a Gary don't gamble. Ain't a lot of girls going by Debbie anymore, but they got the same nicotine pouring out their pores. Time leaves town, but the minute hand stays. There ain't a lot of boys named Gary these days. Gary these days been worried about the bad news. There ain't a lot of teenagers filling up the church pews, no. Burning bush lights, don't talk to his brother. People even still say grace before supper. There ain't a lot of boys named Gary these days, born with a cigarette glued to their face, fixing about anything a hammer can handle, saving all the money cause a Gary don't gamble. Ain't a lot of girls going by Debbie anymore, but they got the same nicotine pouring out their pores. Time leaves town, but the minute hand stays. There ain't a lot of boys named Gary these days. I had a weird suspicion with the light out on the front porch. A hard medication poured down where the drain pours. He holds his left arm while his parakeet prays. Has anybody seen much of Gary these days? Has anybody seen much of Gary these days? No, there ain't a lot of boys, ain't a lot of boys, ain't a lot of boys named Gary. Gary. Gary.
Why do you do it like that? It's just fun, huh?
This is fun.
It's almost like the door closes on it or something.
It's like Gary dies, and it's almost like the door closes on Gary. It's Gary said.
It is, and there's not enough Garys out there.
There's not. I mean, they're a Gary breed.
Dude, well, they should have a museum that has Garys in it.
I agree. I always thought there would be a great idea for a Gary Busey museum called the Gary Museum.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
The museum, yeah.
Yeah.
He should have that.
I think so. And you go in and it's just like a bunch of Point Break memorabilia.
Yeah.
And like just Busey's.
Yeah, a lot of good Busey stuff. When he was in
Make It Two.
A lot of movies and some of his cameos even does now could be in there.
Yeah, he like breaks the fourth wall. I love that about him. He looks at the camera You ever notice that, like in movies, like he like looks at the camera?
I don't know if I noticed it as much. But now that you say it, he breaks the fourth wall of existence of being human.
He does, yeah.
He shatters right through it.
He speaks in acronyms and
it reminds me of a rare name, dude, or Debbie. Was it Debbie in the song?
Debbie, yeah.
We had, what was her? Miss Robin.
Oh,
that was our lady at our kindergarten, and I would not sleep. I couldn't nap time or whatever. So she started to notice it, and she'd let me go outside and watch her smoke when we were kids. And her hair, she goes, "If you can't sleep, you can come watch me smoke." And sometimes
that was your Debbie.
And sometimes I would need some sleep, so I'd be like, "I'm going to sleep today" or whatever. But then probably 2 days out of the week, I'd go out there
and watch Robin smoke.
Tell me about her husband and stuff like that. And her hair was kind of like this feathered sort of kind of cut.
That's a total Robin.
I think she looked exactly like a man, but she was beautiful though to me. She was probably one of the hottest. She was a woman that would talk to me, so she was stunning.
It was incredible.
God, there was something like that.
Just to watch a robin smoke, not the bird, but the human, a human robin.
We talk a lot about your quote. I know it's not your quote, but grief is only love that's got no place to go. Yes, we talk a lot about that, man, on here. We've mentioned it a few times. You think you could play that for us?
I could, yeah. I'd be happy to.
Would you mind?
It'd take just a second for me to tune up for it.
Okay.
Life is a battlefield, and it'll drag you right through hell. Bites like a rattlesnake, the kind that you just don't see on the trail. And I miss my father every day, the kind of pain I pray don't fade away. For the ones above guide me down a road, yeah, grief is only love that's got no place to go. From my great-granddad in the ground, all the ghosts in my hometown, yeah, they're the ones that find me down a road. Yeah, grief is only love that's got no place to go. Yeah, grief is only love. The world is a cannonball, so deal with the feelings you can't hide. God gave us alcohol when we need to leave them all inside. And I don't feel like crying, but I just keep crying for the ones above to guide me down a road. Yeah, grief is only love that's got no place to go. From my great-granddad in the ground, all the ghosts in my hometown, yeah, they're the ones that find me down a road. Yeah, grief is only love that's got no place to go. Yeah, grief is only love. Grief is only love. Grief is only love. I don't feel like crying, but I just keep crying for the ones above to guide me down a road. Yeah, grief is only love that's got no place to go. So hang on to the hurting and let it grab a hold. And the only thing for certain is it's out of my control. And grief is only love that's got no place to go. Yeah, grief is only love that's got no place to go. Yeah, grief is only love. Grief is only love. Grief is only love. Grief is only love.
That's awesome, man. Thank you
Hey,
so
how we
much.
feel? It sound okay?
It sounds great, dude. Yeah. Just thank you. Yeah. It's just nice.
Thank you, Theo, for
Yeah.
everything, man. Thank you.
Oh,
Trevin,
yeah.
was that okay?
Wow, dude. He's never used profanity in here. So he's going to
He's
get
never
into
cursed
merit.
in his
but-
life.
Hey, that's what's going on, dude.
Theo,
Thank
thank
you,
you
bro.
so much.
Thank you so much, dude.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
And I
You're
love it. And
awesomer.
thank you for sharing and helping us feel and making it okay for people to feel stuff. And yeah.
Yeah, I think it's time to feel things because what else do we have if we ain't got feelings? I think it's the only thing that separates us from the robots at this point. And,
Yeah.
so let's lean into what we got.
Amen. Lean into what makes us real.
Yes, sir. What makes
Stephen
us
Wilson
feel.
Jr., thank you so much, brother.
Thank you. God bless you all.
You too.
Thank you, Theo.
Amen.
Now I'm just floating on the breeze, and I feel I'm falling like these leaves. I must be